Thank you, Program Director MEC Maile, His Excellency the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, our Honorable Premier David Makura, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers that are here with us this morning, Honorable MECs, Executive Mayors from Mfuleni, Lesedi and Vaal, our Speakers of Councils and Whip of Councils, Councillors and a Ward Councillor in this area today, government officials, leaders and members of community-based organizations, leaders and members of different sector-based organizations present here today, members of the community of Sharpeville and Baahi ba Sedibeng kaofela. Lesedi, are you here? Yeah. Vaal, are you here? Yeah. Mfuleni, are you here? Yeah. Okay, these are our partners. We have given us contract as government. I'm happy that we are here today, all of us as three spheres of government, to come and account to you. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Dumelang. Molweni. This is a day that we have been waiting for with great excitement and anticipation. It is an important day for the community of Sedibeng because it is a day on which we will witness democracy in action, whereby there are no reservation to interaction between the people and their government. Honorable President, my sense is that your visit to our district, amongst other things, is a testimony and a living proof of at least three things. That is cooperative governance, active citizenry, as captured in the participatory democracy, and being pragmatic with our desires and solutions. Simply put, cooperative governance is that common interest between the three spheres of government and service to its people, as is a common between the three. To this end, in terms of our Constitution of the Republic, it gives necessary input to my point to emphasize the following. They should achieve the following: in fostering friendly relations, assisting and supporting one another, informing one another, and also consulting one another on matters of common interest, coordinating the actions and legislation within one another, adhering and agreeing to procedures, and avoiding legal proceeding against one another. I think what the President is going to launch in this region, what we call the district development model, is what the Constitution is emphasizing. It is in the light of this principle that I sometimes ask myself, President, what is the essence of relationship between the people and their government really? I don't know how many will disagree with this assertion. That is the legitimacy of the decision and policy choices whenever those who are affected such policy choices are participating meaningfully in creating such solutions. I'm reminded of a slogan, and I quote, "Nothing about us without us." This is a slogan that has been used for nearly 500 years to communicate the idea that no policy should be decided by any representative without a full direct participation of members or a group or groups that are affected by this policy. This, together with active citizen participation, are the center of democratic project. Following this reason, we have multitude organizations representing specific interests and sector in attendance, therefore giving substance to what and how active citizens should be in shaping the affairs of their government. Honorable President, picking up from these 3 points that I've earlier mentioned and signifying your visit here today, I stated that our solutions to our problems must be informed by practical solutions. We are a district municipality faced with the string challenges needing collaboration and efforts to overcome them. And such is not a secret. And at the same time, the past performance history of this municipality cannot decide our fate or define the attitude of the current leadership, of which I'm part of. But most definitely, our past will be linked to what we intend to achieve going forward. The secret ingredients to all of that, it is restored to the necessary administrative order by linking it to an unshaking commitment to never dishonor the cause we represent, the African National Congress in this municipality, not even in favor of personal interest, now that we've also been governed through coalitions. As Sedibeng, we are fit with a platform. I beg your pardon. As Sedibeng, we are your feet, President. We are the platform. Use us to win back what is lost in our people. Performance in making Sedibeng a center of activity, as people that have been longing to live like before. We have a roadmap by which we know why is the dark and where to switch back on the lights again. We are encouraged by this visit of the highest office in our land and wish a productive time here listening and engaging with our people. Through the democratic process, we have entrusted hopes and better future for themselves and their children to govern and you lead. Having said so, you are all welcome in Sedibeng. Sedibeng ke lehae la batho. Ke a leboha.
Ke leboha Majoro. Malibongwe. Arabana kgwedi ya rona. Malibongwe. Kamana makhosikazi malibongwe. Ntate Varalo. Wathinta abafazi. Kgwedi ya rona re tla ikitika ibe ifela. So thank you very much, Majoro. We've agreed with the program director that we're not speakers again. So I'm going to invite Minister Kungube to really come and briefly tell us what So I'm going to ask Mr. Kungube to really come and clarify for us the purpose of this Imbizo. My court director said we are coming to account. You're not going to be a hunting as sponsor officer president again. So no paragraph as sponsor president. So
thank you, Program Director, Mr. President, Mr. Premier, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Mayors, Councillors, various stakeholders, we greet you all. I deliberately left the speech, Program Director, so that I can be short. Because a lot of what I was going to say, both yourself and MBC Maele have said it. I just want to say, we are here, Mr. President, today appreciating the fact that you have honored us, and also thanking the people of Sedibeng for honoring us to be in this gathering. Remember, today, this year is the 62nd anniversary of the anniversary of Sharpeville Day. Again, it's a year where we lift the matter of the human rights to a higher level, remembering that those who marched, they were fighting for something that was bigger even than their march. Some of them died so that we live. Some of them stayed in prison so that we're free. So we live to actually correct the sewage. We live to make sure that there's water. We live to make sure that people have got access to economy. We live to make sure that everyone has got food. We live to make sure that women's rights are protected. The President in 2018, having looked at the state of delivery, economic performance, state of service delivery, having seen the cost it takes to implement various projects, the time it takes to implement project, a lot of strictures that undermine timeous delivery of project. Became clear to the president that unless amongst all those who are partaking in delivery, that there is communication, there is talking, there's seamlessness, there's understanding and mutual, there are well-informed expectations amongst themselves. President, it became clear that understanding that when there is seamlessness, when we work together, the projects are delivered in a speedier manner, in a less costly manner, in a more accountable and more transparent manner. And the president took a view that unless all spheres of government, national, provincial, local, come and work together in a seamless way, unless government work with society, business, labor, and all stakeholders in a seamless way. What did the president call this thing? DDM, District Development Model, where in each given area, all these stakeholders read from the same book. Now the president, since 2018, has been leading us in the implementation of this model. He's coming now to the 4th province. It was Mahikeng, it was Freestad, it was Mpumalanga. Now he's here to come and check how is it working. Here in what we call Sedibeng, there's a lot of painful things that we have witnessed. There is also a lot of good things that we have come across. But the president is here to check as you interact with him, whether you confirm what we saw, so that if there are gaps, we go back and relevant leaders come back to correct those. Against that background, that is the purpose. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, Minister Gungubele, for clarifying. So, President, you can be here, everybody. I'm not aware that there will be much of Muaya subsidies so too. Again, so I'm going to, we've agreed, I keep on repeating this, we've agreed to co-director. So I'm going to invite our Premier Tate Makhura to say, Asanzata, Atlo Fa Kaleho, where we are, and then Hatlo Hamo, Nagi, Tate Mader Tabler, we've come to you, it's your day. There's too much affair over it. Premier Fa, after he gives his report, then we are going to ask you to engage with the president. But you can see Adamo and everybody or all of us should at least be assured that our views, our concerns have been raised with the president. So it's your day, we're not going to take long. I'm going to ask Tate Makhura. I've given him longer time because we want him to also report on the progress, but also to highlight what the challenges are. And President, as part of the build-up, our offices have been coming to this area to pick up what the issues are. But we're not saying people should not repeat them, but we've engaged, we have a sense now, in addition to our own monitoring directives, we have a sense of what the challenges are. So I am going to ask Mazibuku, I'm going to ask the Premier to come and set Aleho from there. We're going to explain to you how we're going to engage, and we're going to have to make sure that so that we actually make sure that we run the program well, and then the president will respond after Luna said we after Tate Makhura. So Lituki said, look, how do we invite you to come and participate? Premier, over to you.
Dumelang bana beso. Ke kopo dumedisa ba ko lesedi ba kae ba ko lesedi. Sanbonani bakithi. Ninjani. Ba ko Vaal ke a le dumedisa le lona. Ke dumedisa le ba ka mo Emfuleni ka mo hae. Dumelang batho ba Sharpeville, batho ba Boipatong, batho ba Sebokeng, batho ba Everton, batho ba Bophelong. Dumelang kaofela ha lona, batho ba Vereeniging le Vanderbijl. Nna mosebetsi wa ka o ba mfileng wona lehatong la puso ya national le ya province le ya bomasepala. Ke filwe mosebetsi ona mo lehatong la bona kaofela. O re kere mathata a batho ba mo Sedibeng ba tshwaraneng le ona ke afeng, ene ke eng ntho e leng hore puso ya national le ya province le di masepala ba ne ba tshwarisane matsoho ho di etsa dintho tseo. So ke ona mosebetsi wa ka kajeno. Ke fitise tlhompho ho batsamaisi ba mosebetsi, MEC Maile and Minister NG Msega. Se re amoetse mo presidente wa rona, a re mo amoeleng ka Vaal sa mmakgonthe, a re amoeleng president ka Vaal, batho ba Vaal. Bomme a ke le utlwe bomme le lizelane. Utate shapan di play ke re di utlwe di play teng. Tada. Ya utlwa. Chobicho bafoethu chobicho. Yeah, I can hear there are young people here. Nama veteran akho. I want to acknowledge all the ministers and our deputy ministers. I want to acknowledge our MECs. All our MECs are here, as MEC Maile did say. I want to acknowledge our mayors. The mayor of the district has welcomed us. But there are 3 local municipal mayors. I want to particularly, President, I want special permission to ask them to stand. The district mayor Selimoni, Mayor Hadebe, the mayor of Emfuleni, Kikupawe, Mayor Baubone, Mayor Hadebe, the mayor of Emfuleni, Mayor Texeira, the mayor of Vaal, where are you sitting, Mayor? Mayor Mkosi, the mayor of Lesedi, I want to acknowledge all our councillors, MMCs, speakers, chief whips. Kidumedise hape hu ba remetseng ko parlamenteng ya province le ya national. The most important people, the VIPs, are yourselves. You are representing the different stakeholders, you are representing communities, bateng baruti, hona le traditional leaders, hona le boradi business, le di NGOs bateng, le mahlatsi ba a Sharpeville le a Boipatong, le a Sebokeng bateng, kaofela ha lona ke le dumedise baemedi ba di business tsa ko makeisheneng re dumelang. Sedibeng ke region or ke masepala district ya rona is south, is in the south. Ina le batho ba 1 million. This district has 1 million people who live in it, in a province ya Gauteng. Gauteng province ina le batho ba 16.1 million. In that 16.1 million, 1 million of those people live in the south of our province, here in Sedibeng, Vaal. Re a tseba hore Vaal is the birthplace of industrialization mo Gauteng. Ntwena re bitsang hore di industry tse thomileng hore Gauteng ibe economic engine di thomile mo Vaal. This is the birthplace of industrialization. In Etsueriki, industrial steel, we know the steel industry iskoro ne ira batho ba ngata nako ntsele e sa le teng e le strong. A lot of people were working in the steel industry, in the different parts of the steel industry, but ISCO was the main employer. It was the main source of employment. So over the last several decades, we will into deindustrialization. So Sedibeng, the steel industry, reached a serious decline. And so this economy of the Vaal, which is the leader of industrialization of Gauteng, is now no longer where it used to be. So Sabili Serbatamur President le Cabinet ya hai ba itsebe. The economy of the Vaal is in serious trouble. And we need national government, not just the province, but national government to help us revive, rebuild this economy, what we call economic regeneration of the Vaal. So President, the first thing we want to report to you, matata aruna amangata batho ba ba leng teng mona ko makeisheneng batho ba sebetse bana ba kena ko nyaupe ke uri mesebetsi a iteng le ba tholang dintlo ba kgone patala bo masipala hobane mesebetsi a iteng. So unemployment rate in Sedibeng is 64%. It's the highest unemployment rate in Gauteng. So this economy of the Vaal needs decisive regeneration and decisive intervention. Renali team, SABC national government, Etwango National Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Minister Patel, Urumeti Deputy Minister Wahai Fikile Major. Usebetsa le runa usebetsa le ntate Tau Pakstau province le di masipala tsa rona le district di masipala tsa rona. So the first thing we are working on is on economic regeneration of the Vaal. We want the Vaal to be where and even better than where it was 60 years ago. And this Vaal Special Economic Zone. We already have 7 projects. We had an investment conference last year in October here in the Vaal. Lidi business, rekopani le bona, nationally neliteng, province neliteng, di maspala kaofela neliteng. We met with businesses, big businesses that are located in the Vaal. Babatan tuso ya government, and gitaibea hanto tuso ya ukefi. We met with them. All of them pledged 45 billion rand investment on condition that certain things are done. So the Vaal Special Economic Zone is a big economic regeneration project for this area of the Vaal. Utsuselesa di industry tse manufacturing ka mo Vaal. Ene ba teng batho ba ntate Fikile Majola a kopaneng le bona. They are black manufacturers here, Mr. President. They are manufacturing great stuff. Some of them have shown what they manufacture. They are here. Deputy Minister Fikile Majola met with them last week. There are also farmers in the Vaal. Agriculture has huge potential in the Vaal. Minister Togo Didiza was meeting with the farmers. Those farmers have been able to table what their issues are, where they need support, and provincial and national government must be working with the municipalities on agriculture. So industrialization, one of the big drivers of the Vaal Special Economic Zone, green hydrogen. So renali sasol mona, and ratsiba sasol le haila sasol ki Vaal. Sasol is together with ISCO, now ArcelorMittal, they've been the key drivers of employment in the Vaal. So going into the future, new sources of renewable energy, green hydrogen. We are working with Sasol and other private sector businesses like Mitochondria to harness opportunities, green hydrogen. But we also have township businesses. We have lots of businesses here in the Vaal that are saying they can't be left out in every sector. We have seen opportunities in the Vaal for cannabis, for being cannabis growers, also cannabis processing here in Gauteng. A ke re ra itseba cannabis. A ke bue ka utsuba matekwa. Ke bua ka hore re tjala motlharo, wa fodisa motlharo. Mara a re o tjale le hore re tlo utsuba. This cannabis production and cannabis processing, particularly for medicinal use. We have growers here in the Vaal. We want to turn the Vaal into a great cannabis hub in Gauteng province. We have met with them. We have already engaged with those cannabis growers. But Renalini project, I'm going to be very brief on those projects outside this major infrastructure projects. We have also met with contractors here in the Vaal. We've been working with them, and bongata ba bona ba re no ha di tlisa di projects tsa wa ga mo Vaal le ska re tlohela le tlise batho ba tswang go gole ba tlo aga le rona mo Vaal bomme le bontate re a gona wa. We want to build this Vaal River City. We want to build this special economic zone. We want to build these roads. We want to build these schools and these clinics. So they met with us. President, I want to report to you. They said to us, they are not thugs, the construction mafia. And they made it clear, they are not criminals. They don't want to stop projects. They want the projects to come, but they want participation in those projects. And we had a good meeting with them. We agreed on how we are going to be supporting each other. So on the economic side, I can't say everything, but the program, the project to build the Vaal Special Economic Zone from this side across the Vaal River, right? This is going to be a special economic zone that's multi-sited right up to the Sedi. It passes through mid-Vaal along the Vaal River. So that's our big project. The second big issue, which is a problem in the Vaal, key infrastructure but by issue. The infrastructure is aging, is not properly maintained. Water, sanitation, electricity infrastructure, because our municipalities, generally our municipalities in the Vaal, including the district, do not have the financial base, the resource base can be able to cope with maintaining the infrastructure. Some of this infrastructure is 60 years old. That's why the problem here, sewer leakage. What are we doing about that? We've got a team of the Department of Water and Sanitation that Minister Mkunu has sent the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation. Deputy Minister Mashobo is based here in the Vaal. He works most of the time in the Vaal together with the mayors and MEC Maile on these issues of water and sanitation. Problem here at the pump stations. We have a problem of the wastewater treatment plants that for a long time they were not being maintained, but water and sanitation has been working on all of them. 44 pump stations and four of those wastewater treatment plants. They are busy now. We know they will still be sewer in the street, but they are doing a lot of work to unblock. There will still be some spillage into the Vaal River, but they've already fixed the Sedibeng wastewater treatment plant. They are busy at Leogale. They are busy they are going from the other one to the other, including in Mid-Vaal. So these teams of the province and national government are attending to this issue of water infrastructure as well as sanitation infrastructure. So there may still be problems, but the teams from national and province are here, Mr. President. Especially water and sanitation, working with Rand Water are doing a lot of work. We know municipalities have got their own Rand Water, they have huge debt on water. They also owe ESCO. Unali infrastructure, electricity, 15 substations have already been repaired. These are municipal substations through the intervention. National Department of COCTA is working with COCTA in our province to add together with ESCO on the issues of electricity infrastructure, including the money owed, the huge debt owed by municipalities municipalities to ESCOM. Yesterday, this week, they met with Minister Pravin Gordhan on how municipalities need more favorable terms to repay ESCOM what they owe them. So, Mr. President, I am very pleased. I saw Andre here. I'm very pleased that the municipalities and ESCOM are going to agree on favorable terms of not non-payment, of paying ESCOM, and municipalities themselves are also having challenges, but I must tell you, there's lots of people are paying in Sedibeng. There's serious economic problems, but the municipalities here are collecting. Let me tell you, Lesedi collect 97% of their rates. The rate collection, 97%. Mid-Vaal, it ranges between 90% and 95%. Yes, Mfuleni is at 80%. 80% is low in our standards in Sedibeng. It is low, but they are trying to ensure that people pay. So this story that people don't want to pay for rate is not true, but people want service delivery. They want to see the results. That's what communities are always saying to us. So the last area of infrastructure, we have worked with all the municipalities to fix and upgrade and rehabilitate 21 roads in the Vaal. From Everton to Spokane, even here in Sharpeville, we fixed 4 of those roads, including Mareka. Those roads were in terrible shape. Right here in Sharpeville, we fixed 4 of those roads that are main roads. We have done that in Vrienegem, we have done that in Vanderbijl. So we have fixed a major road for the farmers, 3 rivers. The farmers were complaining about a problematic. So we have fixed 21 municipal roads because we could do it because we have intervened in Mfuleni. Section 139. And this takes me, therefore, to the last set of issues. There are many people who say they still don't have houses. We have about 100,000 backlog on housing, but we have a lot of housing projects. We have 7 human settlement mega projects, big projects in the Vaal. I know what the problem is. You always raise it. Saying that on a slow, saying that on a hadifele kanako, saying that on they are occupied illegally. And problems, and there are also problems of allocation of housing. Setting the affair, and then there's delay in allocation. But we have got 7 big housing projects in the Vaal, and those are receiving our attention. The last part of my report, Mr. President, I said we have problems of the economy. Number 2, we have problems of infrastructure which affects service delivery, water, sanitation, electricity, and roads. People always complain about those 4 things in the Vaal. But we also have problems of governance. We must be frank. Our municipalities are often not operating at the standard and at the right level required. Political and administrative instability, sometimes walwani wako masipala hausebenzi, and that thing affects the communities in a very big way. When there's no proper service delivery, there's fights, conflicts. Permanently, the municipalities cannot focus on service delivery. One of the municipalities severely affected by instability and administratively and politically, Mfuleni local municipality. To a point where it was even very difficult for them to do financial problems, serious financial problems, and communities were saying the municipality can't do anything. We have intervened. We use the constitution to institute section 139. That is why we are able to build and refurbish municipal roads, because we have made that intervention. We have also used we have also helped the municipality. Refuse is piling up. We got that complaint particularly 2 years ago. Last year we bought the municipality new trucks, new TLBs, we bought them, MEC Pakstow, the Department of Agriculture and Environment, we provided the municipality with new vehicles to help go to the townships to go and remove and pick up waste and refuse in the communities. It's slow, but we need improvement. Last year, before reach over to Sakadi collection in nearly at 34%. Collection at the moment is at 68%. It means there are still many problems in many areas. So you are saying in your area there's still heaps and heaps and heaps piling there. We can hear you, which means Lebatogona progress. We bought them new trucks. Those trucks must go to the ground and go and work. That's what you want to see. So I want to conclude by saying, Mr. President, we also have the Township Economic Development Act, legislature support the business delegation. But what is our problem? Rebata national government irritus. Let me tell you, this September, the provincial government was saying we need to get out of Mfuleni. We have been here for 4 years now. This September, that's what our ex-code was saying. We need to end section 139. We have been consulting, going to different meetings. Province national. Because Halikatu Wadilodito collapse. That's the feedback. We continue to support the municipality in all these different ways and bring more national and provincial departments to come and support the municipality. So I want to say to you, Mr. President, we need big support on infrastructure. Infrastructure in the Vaal needs to be rebuilt, it needs to be refurbished, especially the water pipes, electricity infrastructure, the roads. As the province, we are doing our best. We have put in some money. We are going to refurbish and improve another 32 roads. We are working with the municipalities in different areas to catalyze the investments on SEZ areas, but we need bulk infrastructure. How's not bulk infrastructure? Our municipalities don't have strong revenue base because this economy, as I said, has this in industry. So we need significant bulk to support economic development, to catalyze big projects, to Sedibeng, to also support new developments, including the Vaal River City, which is part of the Vaal Special Economic Zone. That's the last thing I want us to say to the President. We need help. Maspalawarnawa district has no source of revenue. The district municipality has no source of revenue. And it has finally paid. Essentially, as we rebuild this economy, there are also big projects we want the district, part of the district development model. We want a district that can drive development. And that district needs support from the province and from nationally. We want to build a strong district. That's one part of our vision. Mayor Maluka, you are working very hard with your team here. Our local municipalities are working very hard, but the province doesn't want to camp here permanently. We want a strong district, so we need national support. On that note, I want to conclude and say, these are the issues you have been raising with us. We have been working with you on. We have been working with specific national departments. Today, as we launch the DDM, the District Development Model, we actually need more. I know we also need more in crime prevention, more work in crime prevention. The Minister of Police is here. There's lots of good work on education. There's lots of substantial work on health, but there are incomplete projects in education and health. human settlements and some of our roads department projects. We are going to make sure that those are completed as part of the DDM model, as we're chasing the regeneration of Sedibeng, so that this can be a region in Gauteng we can be proud of, and our people can live here and say we also belong to Gauteng. Thank you very much. Re a leboha.
Re a leboga Premier, o ba re mo shapeleng matsogo gape. So yaanong ke nako ya hore mopresidente a utlwe ho tswa ho setjhaba sa mo Sedibeng, ka hore re ba bangata haholo. Ke a tshepa hore motho o mong le mong wa nyaka ho thola monyetla le sebaka sa o ka botsa mopresidente something. Ke tlo kopa re sebedisane, ho na le tsela e re nyakang ho tla ka yona nna le mme Motshega hore re kgone re ka fa batho ba bangata hore ba bue. Sa mathomo se re kopang hore dumelane ka sona kore motho o i-one a ka se bue sebaka se se telle, tshwantse ho be le nako. So re a kopa hore ho ska ba le preamble e telle, so re fa 2 minutes, in that 2 minutes o bue o tshore ke batla eng nna president mathata ka kia and all that, because president o nyaka go mamela batho ba bangata, as many people as possible. Ha no kgonahala ne re tla re everybody, but re a tseba hore o ka se kgonagale. So ke ntwa mathomo eo ya bobedi, nna ke re setse ke di entse di viva le di amandla ka ofela ke di entse, so ne ke leletsa tsona. So wena o emela o ska etsa viva le amandla, nna setse ke di entse on your behalf. So that's why ne ke etsa di viva, it's not because of fashion, ne ke eletsa lona. So re kopa hore ha o emela o bue hore nna ke nna mang, bothata ba ka kibo. Ntho ya mathomo re nyakang ho etsa hobane ho na le dipleke tse fapafapaneng mo Lekwa. So re tlo nka batho ka dipleke, re thome re re a re thomeng ka batho ba Sebokeng, batho ba Bopilong, batho re nke maybe 3 Sebokeng, 3. Ha re fetsa re tlo nka di sector, ho na le di sector tse fapafapaneng, re a tseba di organized, ho na le di issues tse ba nyakang go di raise. So once re kgonne ho etsa jwalo, re a tshepa by the time president a tlo bua batho ba bangata ba batla ba buile. So ke tlo kopa ka tlhompho batswadi baka hore re mamelaneng ba hore ba fang sebaka sa hore ba bue, re tlo kopa hore ba sutelle gore ba be. So re tlo thoma because bona le di roles tse fapafapaneng. Ha una le, in fact the rules ka di roles re ya go thoma ka di black, so of the sector di ready. Angere mme Motshega ke mme wa ka ke mamela ena e so ba beile nna le ena ke ntwe ba bitsa generational mix not generational takeover, president, mix. This is the value of generational mix. So you give them Motshega a manage the sector and then we'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I thought I should really start with the sectors because it's people who are ready, they've been asked to speak. But just to repeat what the MEC had said, Ludumedisa skaya mo. Uchor kwena man, utlahakai tabaki. Ukene timeng again. Oroskai lata hole. 2 minutes if I was to try a mam high fell like the Atima Kirufedide. So, mitsutsu miraro ki tlo qala ka di sector le teng tjeka ke tjho motho hana mitsutsu a tlatlampedi mo how the sector o tseba re buela mokgatlo o itseng ho tloha moo ha di sector qeta o bua because what ba se ba itukisitse ke tlo ya ka di baka tse fapaneng hore Sebokeng, Everton, Bopilong, Van der Bailey, Vereeniging, Sharpeville. Impa ke qala ka di sector hona jwale. But ba tshwere di mic ha fela 3 minutes o amohe mic ya hao shemaniso. Okay. Iseka ka ai mo hlambe mara o ikope hantle ra o le rongwe lona ke batla batho ba rongweng fela o tloa mo o tshwanetse gore batho ba le shebe kwa re bona gore ke mang ya emetseng disete se la thibela batho ke tla qala ke kope motho ya tshwereng mic, the first person with the mic, 2 minutes, and then why fitisa jwalo jwalo re tla araba morao ntle le tlhaloso e telele be mutla re tla ba bangata haholo tla pheta ke di bitse hape no let's agree
I'm a senior artisan, I'm a qualified speaker by profession. But most unfortunately, I'm unemployed since the year 2019. I have no food in the house. The wife almost left me. So, Mr. President, I'm not angry with you. I'm pleading that please make a plan for the senior citizens who are qualified, because we are going to impart the skills that we have learned and pass it back to the youth. So, Mr. President, here is my profile. I'm asking for a job, please.
I just want to greet the leadership of President Minister, my name is Sikelelwa Clara Sodula Shemwenza. I am the President of South African Women in Construction, SAWIC. Bomme bala ba akgang matlo ba dilang ka brick and mortar. Difuna jo president ne mbone kahle. Minister, President, I stay in this region, Kidula mo Sedibeng, and I am not representing my company. I am representing all the women that are here, that I know that they are with me from my organization, SAWIC. Firstly, ke batla ho leboga President. Ke leboga gore I cannot be held.
But I also added to ask as much as Makan. Ke kopa di bui di etsa ka mkhore kupileng ka teng ho ska ha ba di rata. Wena ke na tabeng. O buela seba bomme ba aha ya ba ke ife o fete le secret le batla ho feta. Wena ke na tabeng.
As much as I have concerns, I need to also acknowledge and appreciate as women of South Africa by our government. I cannot run away from the truth. However, here in the region, ya Sedibeng, Premier, there are lots of things that are happening that we are not happy about as women. And as women, we are taken for granted as if we don't comply in terms of the whatever compliance that is needed in the industry. Kuna li bomme ba bangata mo president. Baling mona who are grade ones. I think you understand this language, ya construction. Datema Yile is also there. There are women who are grade ones, there are women who are grade twos, there are women who are grade threes, and so on. Then kubalidi projects te advertisewang in the region. Utolo, these projects, when they are advertised, then we will encourage members to also submit their tenders through our assistant, because we are no longer grade ones. I am here standing proudly to say I am grade 7 because of this government. Then, concerning the women of the Vaal, they don't get the projects in the municipalities. So we want you, President, to make sure that you monitor that process. And as much as you monitor that process, say setting, one was grade 1 yesterday, today I'm grade 8, waiting for grade 7, waiting for grade 8. And we need to appreciate on the other side, what I am representing women that are still in the lower grades. Can you make sure that the tenders set on Sedibeng, the benefiter, the people, and even the women that are in compliance in terms of the industry?
Thank you very much. And then can I also alert you that so after we have got this so that the related land, Kiakupa Hantle happy but what we go got home for. Having Skara Ralo Rocket. Regeneration, reafeed.
Good day, Comrade President and everybody. My name is Mike Ramajo. I represent the sports sector. President, this place that you are standing at, you said you are coming to Shabelle Cricket Beach. I don't want to say this is a cricket beach, but however, we have a proposal in hand. There's a gold city here, this place where we are. And we have a proposal on it to build student accommodation, 10,000 units here. We want to maintain this very place that we are sitting at, and we want to give an opportunity to the young athletes to be nurtured, to be making sure that they are a pool of sports, athletes of tomorrow. President, here are my details, here is everything that we have in here. We are saying there's a challenge of informal settlement here. We have funds from the international investors, $240 million to be precise. Please, presidential infrastructure project is the only way, because when we go to the municipality, we are told that we need treasury for us to get a long-term lease here. We have a breathing investors on my neck. I really want to hold you in hands to say, let us create 5,000 part-time jobs, let us create 1,000 permanent jobs here, and let us give our kids future. Thank you.
Your details to the table. This is President.
Thank you. Mr. President, issue is around the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. 21,700, some of us. But the challenge is, in fact, I'm grateful with the social amenities in which government is doing in relation to the basic education, including the tertiary. However, there is a health regulation in which is waiting for the president's signature. By the name mentioned, is my name. So I'm waiting. I'm just humbly requesting, Mr. President, in consultation with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mr. Raul Lamona, to look into the health regulation around the victims of gross human rights violations. Secondly, it's around Batuba Inkelamat, Mr. President. Zone 28 in a Golden Highway. Honade defenseless young women by long ba approve. But some members of a certain political organization by yet the rightful beneficiaries of those houses, some of them are here. Ban send the approval, so I'm definitely sure how the approved. Lastly, Mr. President, Verena Gen van der Bellen Park is dead. Verena Gen van der Bellen Park is invaded by foreign nationals, and I'm not being xenophobic. Mr. President, I am therefore requesting you to launch a program and you call it Gosana Matolo, in consultation with the Gauteng provincial government. You can do that through the Triple P. Lastly, Mr. President, this one is going to the Minister Pravin Gordhan. Mr. Gordhan, I'm kindly requesting you to instruct your managers to have a monthly meetings with ward councillors, ward committees, and community development workers. Part of those meetings should members of ward committees and councillors and CDWs must submit the list of dysfunctional transformers, and ESCOM should take it upon themselves to replace those transformers. Our people need electricity. They understand they cannot use a phone without having airtime, and much as they understand that they have to use electricity and they want to buy it. But ESCOM sometimes they need us to have a special relationship with them so that they could assist our people. Thank you so much.
Let me go on this other side.
Duela President, Jacob Ramaphosa,
and then can the other speakers move the other side?
President, Jacob Ramaphosa, CPF. Can I problem and then can I get to a country government? Maponisa was it. In the last time that Mawel, Nali to Savannah seat. I'm letting a ropa, I'm trying to get a problem. Till today, as well. Last time, when I was like, I was 7. Last day. Come go or I. Come phone lasagna. So, to go power, where the plan of a was and then, Yabu that Mutadi Kilaka Paralita Musia Bonawa, Huma Fest. Kimbella Katabaya, Ronale Plejawa, Magahana, Bobai, Office, Yahai Table Mutva. Abar Nago Fune, then I did not know who's our negative guy. So, one valley on Amtamu Watamu Malawi, and Aramtra, I think passable. I'm a local with the who busy out there. So, they go out with the president of Narrative course, but one Mitvali. I'm not actually telling you what we want to valley, but they move for nothing, but what I pass. I'm not going for nothing. I'm not Tagas. How not that way? So, to go back to the mood, thank you.
Madame President, Kalivito, Kiditawa Mohosi, Kimai Wamona Shavit, Kiromokiba Ahi, Awoloba, Ward 12, Kitobuaka, Women Settlement Department. Madame President, Renale Matumana Hokena Shavili, Ili Kisintoni. Kisintoni, Khale Levito Hostel. Tatem Bazima Uchinchile Kisintone Are, Esa Sholeva Hostele Sele Motuaba Ai. Leka Genole Nantate, Esale Hubuaka budget ya 21 million. Ya Ulukisa Matu Akisintono, Batuba Kisintone Bapile, Bopelo Akibatuaba. Mara, Leka Genole, Matua Kisintone, Untopelo Akadi Asbestos. Matua Bona Antanela Leka Genolena. Tatamo President, Kahara Kisinton, Ka 2016, Ohawe ECD, Leka Genolena Esote to ECD, Reipota Homaning Isoka Eto. Tatamo President, ho tloha ho di-Women Settlement MEC, bo Ntate Mashatile, Ntate Mamabolo, Ntate Milwa, e sale ba tshepisa hore ba tla lokisa mathata a baahi ba motse wa Kisintoni, ba phela ntle le di-title deeds, ba ntse ba sena di-title deeds le kajeno lena. Ntate Mo-President, ha re putswa stena, ha o qala house number 100 ho fihla house number 320, batho bao ba phela ka hara metsi, ba phela maemong a hazard. Ho tloha ho Mo-President Nelson Mandela a sa phela, e sale a re batho bao ba moo ba tlo tloswa hobane ha se bodulo bo tshwanetse hore batho ba moo ba phele ho bona. Ntate Mo-President, Ntate Mo-President, hona ka hara putswa stena ka moo ho na le lehae le ho thwe ke la bana, e sale le hauwa ka 2018 le kajeno lena ha le soka le qetwa. Ntate Mo-President,
ke a leboha Ntate Mo-President le kabinete. Nna ke Sicelo Nkosi from Vaal Ward 11, but speaking on behalf of disabled people South Africa here in Gauteng, ke represent the DPSA. I'm a provincial secretary. Now ke batla hore ke bue ka issue ya pele, ke issue ya housing, ke shebisitse o MEC Ntate Leboha. Le wena Mo-President, batho ba disabled ka re o gauta ha ke tsama kaofela ba na le bothata ba hore ba etsuwa jwalo ka re entswe ha re fitla mona, ba hore ba renke ba re be ka morao re ska ra bonwa ke Mo-President. Le batho ba disabled, when it comes to allocation of houses, they are not allocated. And remember, disability is a very, very expensive life. To come here to Starkville or to Vereeniging, other disabled people may have to pay lots and lots of money to do that. Then have a fitla go Vereeniging, Baba Jeta or Baba Melet FM. That is one of the things that Mo-President all the allocation that has happened, not allocate to anyway, because I have to fight for that. Then I'm talking about other disabled people that are around Mfulen and Gauteng, that Badulambala day in, day out when we go and discuss with them. The other issue is the number 2 one. I think my brother will cover the other one. The number 2 here, we as disabled people, I think we are up to the task to be allocated the percentage that is money who procurement. There are projects that are happening around. You will hear even the leadership coming talking about empowering youth, empowering women. But what about the disabled people? Remember, when you deal with disabled people, because of the situation we find ourselves in, whenever you call things, there's this organization that was happened to WhatsApp today. People with disability organized, there was none that Balaba organizer to come to you. Right now, because I'm a member of the whole committee, privilegedly so, then Kimona, representing them. All right.
So can I have just one
thank you for the opportunity, Mr. President. Now, I'm going to rather be a bit different from my colleague, Mr. Stolonkus, in that what I'm going to ask is for the President's attention and for the President's favor, because we seek a relationship as disabled people as a sector, but we seek that in our relationship with the President's office, so that after the youth employment initiative of the President, after things like that, they can also be one that is for disability. Now, that doesn't end here, President, where I'm told I must go submit by the table and whatever. I just need to know what from here, how are we going to move forward, knowing that that will at least happen, that we will have engagement. This thing can be national. If we are here representing the disabled people of South Africa, TPSA. And then we're saying we want to engage and really produce that, whether it's going to be called the Disability Accord, it's going to be called the Presidential Disability Initiative, that will make sure that all that my colleague has spoken about, all that the ministers must account for, that it can really take place and can happen within at least some reasonable time, President. Thank you.
So I'm going to go that side, but I can assure you, the minister there, Harry Lepleking, Asabua President, so I can assure you about that we're always going to clean up after his bill. So I'm going to take 5 hands, then another 5 hands, and that you are not generational mix, skill mix, or intergenerational. How will we come? Word-based educators tsa di masepala tsena tse ke Mfuleni, Sedibeng, Vaal and Lesedi. Re na le bothata ba contract e re leng ka tlasa yona e re sebeditseng ho yona, ba bang ba na le 15 years, ba bang ba na le 10 years, ba ntse ba le ka tlasa yona. The year 2020 ba ndile masuku o ile a fihla a re fa permanente, rona ntse re le ka ntle ha re soka re thola permanente eo, ho na le ba bang ba se ba kene ka hare. So bothata ba rona re batla ho tseba hore rona re tlo sign a contract ho fihlela neng, hobane already 2 years down the line ho na le batho ba permanente, rona ntse re signa di contract. Ha ke bua ke eme mona ntse re le ka tlasa contract eo, ha re so sign contract ya selemo senana, ntse re thowela ha re kgole, ha re so kgone re le monana. So re kopa Mr President le Minister wa Health ba re thusa re tsebe hore re tlamehile re etse jwang hobane re wela ka tlasa health. Ke a leboha.
Ka lebitso ke Hadiyo Ngojwa, ke hlaha ka hara Dhaka Sedibeng. Problem ya rona ya pele ke lack and occupational for NPO, ya bobedi ke recognition by municipality and support on program reading, ya boraro ke health certificate by laws using as shutdown of NPO where government builders are not meeting the total requirement. Ke
a leboha hle o utlwa he batla hantle tla kgona ho bua ka bongata ba rona kwa boraro kopa
nna ke le Gauteng ke tswa ke le Ward 25 representing the farmers. Our struggle is a struggle for the land of the haves and the have-nots. Those that have the land are not properly assisted. If you go around the plot that more valuable, you will see a sea of poverty amongst the plots, because now the focus is mostly on the big farms that produce grain. I'm also one of them who produces grain, though I'm on a private land. However, the president, we are entitled to recap by they're in their private lands. To date, there is no single farmer who's on the private land actually a recap. We are struggling. On top of struggling, you are sitting on an equity on the land. And unfortunately, how you go banking, water rights and EIAs, and they can't even use the fact that you have a land for you are really struggling. You are now sitting on the land, you can't work it because of the fact that you cannot even comply. Another thing that we needed to address, we are being cut. There's nothing that I can do rather than to choose those that I can.
You can leave them at the table, so yes. We'll go through them.
Yes. The issue, it's important, the issue of the markets. We do understand that at some point in time we did have boards. The agricultural boards that used to ensure that the farmers have markets. Please, this thing, your transformation is not working. Those that have been here for a very long time, are not making sure that we're getting in to get the markets. So rather bring back the transformation boards, those boards, agricultural boards, whether it's poultry or whatever, so that we can start having the markets again, so that we can be productive. Issue of climate change is also affecting us a lot. I'm talking because the small plots, they really need cover from winds, shelters, or drip irrigation, whatever you may think of, not forgetting also the issue study tractors. So we really need to ensure that, because some people plant plantain spinach, then they get frost. So, you know, people, on top of the fact that they are not even properly assisted, so they find themselves with huge losses. So if you can only help us with this, thank you.
Information Development Center. Le ngolo la rona le re ngoletse mo president o bane re NPO. Ha ke tlo le bala kaofela, ke tlo qolla di paragraph di le tharo. Ya pele ke ena. President jwale ka ha o tlo launchwa district development model. Re ho president re kopa hore president a declare Sharpeville a presidential development zone as a catalyst to the development of the entire Sedibeng townships in line with the envisaged district development model. Several approaches and concepts have been generated from all levels of our community, from maintenance of public amenities and spaces to tiring of roads and socio-economic development of our youth through skills development, digitalization and industrialization. The last paragraph of the letter. President, our greatest wish is that this Imbizo should give birth to a new era and township economic development that is synonymous with the current developments in relation to the Vaal Special Economic Zone and the Gauteng Township Economic Development Act, as well as the district development model within this region. Another package, thank you very much.
My name is Ndade Mngoma from the GACC. Mr. President, our role is to assist people not to be evicted in their houses, and then also fighting for all the people that are having houses and land, that they should have the title deeds when they occupy those land. Mr. President, we have been raising the issue of Hlano Khayaletu houses, whereby over 5,500 people are about to be evicted because the matter of Hlano and government, they are in court. And what is happening that the Gauteng province and National Department of Human Settlements, they were defeated in court. And whilst these people are fighting, these two giants, government and Hlano, are fighting in courts, on the other hand, people are evicted, Mr. President. Now, we want a solution that, what is it that is going to be done by both this department with regard to the evictions? People are evicted in the Vaal, Mr. President. We are requesting help. We are trying, but we don't get help. Mr. President, we have been marching, protesting, doing everything that we could do, but the departments, but the officials in the housing department, Mr. President, can't you give them an order as a highest command in the land? Because and then Mr. President, for the past 3 financial years, Gauteng housing department the millions that the chelete on national whilst Mr. President, batho ba ntshuwa ka matlu mare tšhelete e kgutlela back to national department. I'm
going to take 5 hands this side and then ask the Temade to take over. 5 hands this side, the Hutahape Kamrao, Amamrao Kamu.
Ki dumedisa ketapele kaofela. Ke mema gwego no tsikelelo gogo ya tswang boipatong. Ke na le tletlebo ka ntlo ha isa le ke ngodisa ntlo ka 1996. Ke matha ke a hodimo le class fund ba ifrana ga ifrana ba ha re se janetswe. Zone 4 ke yana ha isa le odiyawa ka boipatong ha iwe. O tsoga tsapisa hore matlo a sia rona. Re kopa matlo government re dula ha botlhoko. Bo nkgono ha hlokomelwe. Bo nkgono ha bana matlo. Matlo a tswa batho ba batjha. Ka hore ikopela mohau. Ha le ke re fe matlo 1996. Le hona jwale ntse re matha. Re kgathetse bo government Department of Housing. Bana Franage. Ha o ile mo ba le shauta. Ba etsa ditlatla. Le ba bana ho bona. Re kopa thuso. Re kopa matlo. Re maqheku. Re kopa matlo. Re le mane boipatong. Hostel.
Utlwahetse hle nna ke re leboha. Ha o bua ya latelang. Can I have the next speaker here?
Dumelang bahai ba South Africa le maetapele wa lona e leng wa rona. Ke leboha Ramasedi ha motsotso ne ke qeteletse go fumana hore ke tlo bua le mopresidente. Mopresidente o tswa bua maoba a le parlamenteng a bolela hore private sector ke yona e tshwanetseng e bone na e etsa jwang hore batho ba sebetsa. Mme ke thabile ka shellena ha a tlile on board a re o tlo etsa hore mmuso wa hae o etse ntho eo. Re na le bothata hanga ho hloka mesebetsi dintho tseo di baka bathata. Ntho e nngwe ya boraro e kotsi ka ho feta, South Africa has become a dangerous country lately. Ho re belaela le hore di-jihadists se ntse di le teng ka hara naheng. Ne re kopa re Department of Safety and Security e leke ho lokisa ditaba tseno. Alright, ke batla ho ya hatelele ke senyetse bana ba modimo nako. Ke hloleha le ho ema nako e telele ke tshwere ke KSC ya prostate gland. Jwale ke ka ho ke dutseng fatshe tjena nka be ke eme hantle ke hlompha mopresident wa ke ne kopa re bolle na le fetele mopresident ke dilemo ke leka hore ke bulela batho ba South Africa mosebetsi empa batho ba South Africa ba thole mosebetsi bane ha ke kgone ho fuwa land e ke lo sebeletsa ho yona le maloba ke ne ke le ho Mantombela kwana ka yona taba ena a romela motho a sebetsa le nna and then ho tloa mo the third person ke hloleile tse ke hloleha and ho ya ka dipalopalo tse ke di tshwereng mona ha ona le 1 million rand o ka hira batho ba 4 permanently bophelo ba bona ka fela ena o ba patala minimum wage e good ke a leboha
Secretary.
My name is Mpokambula. I'm from Presidential Business Corporation. Presidential Business Corporation at this point, President, is taking care of 36 substations that supplies electricity, and we have spent more than 5 million rand to this point without the assistance of anyone but the business people. Presidential Business Corporation President wants to intervene, and we are struggling with our local municipalities that we must beg to intervene. We must beg them to assist them, and that is a problem that we are having. President, the Premier spoke about the intervention of Section 139. I think we must say, Premier, unfortunately, it has not worked. It might have worked where you are, but where we are, we don't see. And maybe it's good that you are ending it in September, because now we must evoke Section 154 of the Constitution. We want the Minister of Culture to come and run this municipality. because you have also considered that there is political instability. But we can't talk about it as if it's a nice thing. We must be able to say, what do we do about it? Because it's actually making our lives difficult. We must also then deal with this issue here, late intervention, President. 139 came, and the reason why we don't see it working well, it's because it came very late, when the municipality was already in shambles. Now, when we want to evoke Section 154, don't do it next year or after 2024. We want it to be done as soon as possible. The Premier talked about the trucks and so on. Let me tell you the truth, President. The trucks that belongs to the municipality, did you see Inyati? They are at Inyati, they have been fixed. The municipality is not paying, Kokta in Gauteng is not paying, and they bring new trucks while there are municipality trucks that can give us the service. So that needs to be rectified. Last one, President. We have an issue of crime in Vereeniging, and we have given the memorandum of demands to the district commissioner. But we have not received any response up to now with solutions. We want to extend that to Minister Begi, and I want to withdraw now before he says, shut up.
Secretary, no,
Mr. President, my name is Roslyn. I come from Vaal municipality. I am the chairperson of Vaal Farmers Association. In agriculture, we are finding it very difficult to operate in Vaal. We do not have a budget for agriculture at our municipality. We do not even have a tractor to assist us. We are trying on our own, on our personal funds, but without the help of the provincial government, our municipality is failing to assist us. We don't even have a budget for agriculture. So I would like to appeal to you, Mr. President, that please look into the issues of Vaal farming community. We have registered an association, Vaal Farmers Association, and we need help. We need assistance. We need land. Some of us, we have the land in our association, but we don't have the assistance from government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then I'll take the last two hands, country, and then MEC might continue with this other side. And as I said, we'll keep on taking from different sides. So can I have the last two hands here?
Kalibitso ke bandoza ke dula ward level. Awana Shakvi. Sebiso. President, ka ga mathata re na le ngona ka ward level. Matlo a hauwe ka ward level ne ka ofela ha wona. Ke matlo a regisitsweng. E yona re na le bopaki ba yona. Ga ne re reporta ha maspa. Ya bobedi, hona le di private sector tse ntshang batho matlong a gale e le ngona matlong a masepala e le yona Vesco. Hona jwa ke tsamaya ke matha di case tsa Vesco mo Vesco e ntshang batho teng ka galente ya ward level. Ya bobedi, ha ka sa batla matlo a tsa haua di RDP ke a pele hobane a rekiswa. Mekuku emile emenge dula ka ga ward level ha ba selwe ditense ba fuwe metsi ba fuwe electric ba fuwe metlakase ke kgathetse ke matlwana tsa haua a dula a rekiswa bobodu ha bo fele ka ga ward level. Thank you, President.
Ya leboga nka wa mathomo ka no mafelo e family
nna ke Dominic Christina Mbongos ntwa ka tshila ka 2020 ka di-5 tsa January. President, ke kopa ntwa ka e hauwe ke kgathetse go robala fatshe ke kgathetse ke a leboga.
Ya leboga mme Thoko nika ubaba ubaba uLungu sizulu.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Klippies. I'm the president of the Golden Triangle Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today to say to you, we as business are ready to assist in Feleni and Sedibeng. We are open for business. Our chamber's name is the Golden Triangle Chamber of Commerce because we believe in golden opportunities. But I think our municipality need to step it up. They need to come to the party and they need to assist business and create, as you said in your speech earlier this year, businesses are there to create jobs. We need jobs. And we as organized business would like you to urge and the local municipality to work with business. We are not the enemy. We are not an enemy. We are there to assist and to help. And that's our plea to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll come back this side. Yeah, thank you very much. Ke kopa le fe ntate mo mic. O ke me from me.
Naki Fagazile utsho hore okay.
Kena ditabeng.
Ke kena teng. Tata President ke lebohile haholo ha o le teng. Wa ntlisetsa ntate Panyaza Lesufi. Pakstau ke lebohile ba ba khale go batla kwa women empowerment. Ke batla go botsa hore local secretary o buang ka yona ke efe? O merite re izametse ka mathata. Ra ba di beso re buka bana ba sekolo. Es Gauteng. Ba re ntshitse mosebetsing wa ntate Panyaza Lesufi. Go kene batho ba di beso tsa KZN. Ba kene ya di bona na. Di beso tsa makatsa ba o shebile fela. For years, ke kadile ka beso e one hobane tender ya bona iri. Phela beso ya bona thola o ithola phi baso ga o thola umsebenzi. Siyazama sathanganisa sibona amabhasi. Sisebenza ezindleleni ezingana kungekho ndlela sivula indlela ngamabhasi wethu. Laphaya eMoniki sihamba sifuna abantwana bayeke isikolo ngoba bayarenfiwa nasebenzwana sihamba ne-coordinator. Labantwana sibafune sibathole. Sesibatholile labantwana sibathathe sibase esikoleni. Yena uGDE akukolode 3 or 4 months. Abantwana bendlu emnyama bese ngabayeki. Namhlanje
Mama ngicela uyenze sizoyiphendula uzwini ubaba Panyaza. Ngiyacela uzwile uPanyaza mama. Ngiyamazi uyamamela. Uzophendula, uzoza kuwe. Uzophendula uyamamela uPanyaza. Ngiyabonga. kopa le sutelle mme nkgolo gore fe nkgolo setulo a dule fatshe mo fe setulo a dule fatshe a kgone go bua gantle ya o ka dula fatshe nkgolo o kgone go bua gantle kopa re mameleng nkgono
ke Silwane Phethane ke tswa mokgatlong wa Khulumane Support Group for the Victims and Survivors of Apartheid. Re lla ka taba ya reparation, re thuseng ha e sale ba bang re fumana melaetsa ya hore re tla e fumana tjhelete empa ho fihlela lena ha re so fuwe letho be ye re fumanang ena ya maqheku ke ya hore fela re je re le ngakeng ha re fuwe le ngakeng tsa bed re iswa bona ka tsamaya ka ntho tsena hona jwale hobane re holofetse ke tshotlo yane le ho ja puo nako re le intentioneng empa ka je kolena ho yuwa minate ka rona jwalo ka ra kopa re bula menyako ntate re bulela ho justice department ho ba bule menyako ba re se di tjhelete tsa re tshepisitseng tsona ya bobedi ke grant hona maqheku re a kenelwa re a bolawa re a utswetswa re a hlekefetswa re fuwa re tsofetse re le tjena we grant ha ke e fele bontate ba polisa ha ba etsa mesebetsi ya bona ha re reporta ho bona ka crime ena ha re reporta ho mane hore ke tswa di-kilifat hobane matswantle ke ona o hlileng ka ntho tsena a teng a wa tseba re na le bopaki ha re reporta mane ya reporta empa taba tsa rona ha di nkuwe motho eo di a nkuwa di lo fuwa ya mong ebe eo wa di rekisa jwale re kopa thuso re hauheleng ntate Ramaphosa wa re tsebe monna wa hao.
okay nkgolo ke kopa le fe ntate ke tlo nka ba babedi ka mo ebe ke boela ka mola ke nka ba bahlano
nna ke Themba President nna ke rongwe ke baipei e lo reng ba dula land e seng ya bona baipei e lo reng ba hloka bodulo but ke di-citizen tsa South Africa and batho bao ha re ba checka kaofela batho bao ba qualify for subsidy so the owner the private owner ba re bona dipleke tsa bona ba di rekisa so ne re kopa hore le re thuse ka taba ya subsidy ya hore ho rekwe di-land tseo so this week ho no tlamehile ebe ho na le eviction e thibuwe ko wena because o tla wena mona ya thijwa eviction o twa emelang president e pele after president eviction e tla be e qala o ska ba bona batho ba bang ba emetswe ke eviction ho na le batho ba rekisang diploto le bona ba qualify e re batlang hore re ba thuse ba thole taba ya subsidy le bona because dingata dintho tse etsalang batho ha ba evictuwa ha ba jwetse le ba evictuwa neneng batho ba senyehelwa because ba bang ba mesebetsing ho nkuwa diphahlo tsa bona ho nkuwa masente a bona ho tlamehile hore ba qale fatshe and ba batla thuso batho ba so re a kopa ho ha ke lenkeleng baipei koptu
okay ra re leboga ke kopa ausi re ba bangata gagolo go na le mo re tlo tshwanela gore re khate so that ba ba sa kgonang go bua ba tla ngwala mo fatshe mara re nyaka fa as many people as possible that is why re kopa gore o kene ditabeng gore re kgone go fa batho ba bangata ba kgone go bua so please re a kopa o ka bua mme
ke a leboha lebitso la ka ke Malie wa Hamogelo ke bua
please a re mameleng
ke bua on behalf of unemployed educators. Most of us we are unemployed today because the government didn't fund our education. Once you are funded by Funza Mshaka, you are guaranteed a job. I qualified long ago in 2013. I'm still unemployed today. Even as you take your CV to any district office of the Department of Basic Education, they will ask you, did you study through Funza Mshaka? If you say no, they tell you to your face, remember the first preference is given to di student se ba dileng ka funza. So what I'm asking Mr. President, is that not discrimination? If it is not, then I don't understand what discrimination is.
Thank you very much. Kiungaria ya increase not kata somewhere because mabangata haholo but re tla fatane ka re re need the minister le president ba kgone go respond, otherwise there is no point ya re bue re ska credit karabo angere re tletso credit karabo. Yeah, so ke kopa re kene mo tabeng ja ke a lebo
ke dumedisa president ya rona le ba tsamang le yena ke nna Mboiselo Ramanepa Kozo. Mona ke emetse di cooperatives tse etsang school uniform. Ho tloha ka 2020 ha re sa etsa school uniform of fela hona jwale 2022 ya fela re ntse re kgadiswa ka le ka fela le sa fihleng. Batho ba re fang school uniform ke social development le SASSA. Jwale ha re approach man ko re school uniform se le sa tloswa man is booking hotcop sa iswa supply chain mo o sa fihlellweng teng re ntse re supiswa supply chain. Jwale he SASSA yona ile ya re signisa di contract tsa 3 years last year ra kenya di kopo tsa di contract empa hona jwale tjena ho so utlwala hore ho na le motho a le mong ya fuweng tender e se tenderizitswe ntweno. Jwale he re ya la Mr. President hore di cooperative tse intailang basadi haholo le batho ba batjha ha di sebetse, ha ona plate e dulang tafoleng, akukho nto ehlala eziko, ikati ilele ziko. Mr. President,
okay, siyabonga kuba ufe tate akutimo
ke lefa buang lefa konyana Mr. President ke bua ke le beneficiary ya extension 28 Sebokeng. Le kopa botsa Mr. President hore na batho ba ikentseng ka hara 28 department e tlo bantshaneng rona re tlo kenaneng ka hara matlo a rona ba re ngodisitse ha ka tloa re khatletse mamati re entse ene ho na le batho ke se bue mekgatlo eno ke mekgatlo efe e ikentseng di kareke ka swasesa batho ba ikentseng bona di organizer tsa matlo a DP ba kenya batho ba rentisa batho ba rekisetsa batho maka. So ne ke kopa hore Mr. President o botse department e qetaneng go evicta batho ba ikentseng le hore o kenya batho ba right ne ya lebo
o ka o fe memo ya ifamme ya
ke zole ka phela ke tswa Vaal ke ke chairperson ya di ECD go Vaal. So ke tla buela di funded and unfunded ECDs. So bothata ba rona bo boholo ke payment. So re batla go tseba gore hobaneng payment ya rona e nka nako gore re ithole e nka bo 2 to 3 months. And ka nako eo ha e nka nako eo di police tsa rona di a lapsa. And then hape ke gore hobaneng re sa nkwe serious jwale ka batho ba sebetsang, because believe gore re a sebetsa. Bana e re ba hlokometseng ha se bana ba rona, ke bana ba South Africa. So ne re kopa gore more re hlokomele taba ena gore bonnete re hloka thuso haholo and go na le batho e re sebetsang le bona ba expectileng le bona gore ha kgwedi fela ba thole megolo ya bona. So ha re sa thole funding ka nako batho bao ba tlo kgona go kae. And bothata bo bongwe hape ha e tla tabeng di ECD mane Vaal ha hona the land for the ECD the only 2 crashes tsena le di land hara Vaal kaofela di 2, the rest batho ba sebeletsa ka di backyard. So ntwe e etse gore go be thata even le gore batho ba toilet requirements of funding because of mo ba sebeletsang teng.
Okay me ke kopa o fe tafula mola issues tsa hao because don't tshwana le payment ha e tshwanela o ba ntwe generic is a specific issue e re tla tshwara re kgone go e addressa kopa o feta fula mola kopa o fe mmemo
e re ke itebogela ke nna ke di bone wa Mahlasi ke tsa ward 6 ke kopa ho bua ka this concept e le hore government e la re ruta haholo MEC e tswa lefapheng la hao asset based community development ke tswa ke le bophelong ntate Lepanya tsa ga leboa o la re tsa smart school so ho ntse hona le dintho tse shotang tse ngata asset based community e re tlamehile re change as government the way we are doing things re as a president motho o mong o na le talent ya hae so communities ba start out of their own pocket that is why it was a pledge from the companies that's ABCDs asset based community development so we are hoping ho tloha national province even fase e supporting ho tlo le ma councilor a rona a tlo ba tlo kgona ba be protected community ha ikeletsa dintho e di owner di a tsamaya high hole ABCD high hole ke MEC Maila re a leboga ke tla gra increase premium if memo
good afternoon everybody my name is Vuyelwa Kodoli from NAFCOC Sedibeng secretary so I got 20 questions going to rank only for
you can ask 2
MEC. Only for 2.
Yes.
Okay. The first one I want to know what is the president key business economy activity about Sedibeng? The second one, it is the president aware of the impact of escalating crime and criminal activity happening in Sedibeng, which created an unhealthy and unsafe environment for the business and the community at large of Sedibeng. The last one, the issue of the xenophobia, the issue of the crime is created by those people. Please, let's do something. How about one of us can buy drugs or airport? How is it mafateng abo bo Spain bo kae rasa chua o sa tshwane se etsa o tshwere banda mara batho bana ba kana Africa ka country ya rona ka ko banda tsamaile please
ne ke kopa batho ba ba bone hore ke tloka just last two ka mo ke last two ka mo because no oh le ga le ka haola mara ke re tshwantse be le tsela e re tsamaisang meeting ka yona ene ha ne ke thoma ke tlhalositse re tlo sebetsa jwang ha hona motho o phirisitseng so a re ska etsa jwang because re nyaka gore di ministera le president ba kgone go fetola otherwise what is the point ya gore re bue ha re fetsa re ska kreya and some of the people ba pheta dintho tse se di buile so ke a di kopa batho ba mo Sedibeng ke a tseba gore mo Sedibeng le batho ba kgotso le lerato so ke a di kopa ke tlo fa ausi itla ausi
okay nna bitso la ka ke tla Lokolo
a re mameleng ausi Lokolo ke motho wa kgotso la butle bitso la hae
okay nna ke nna Lokolo Bukaza ke tswa organization e bitswang Vaal Community in Action ke tlo bua ka tsa di social workers Mr. President le Minister wa rona wa social development di social workers di hlokahala haholo ke kopa di social workers di kenye dikolong because hona le mathata a mangata dikolong ha nka ba kenya di social workers di social workers dikolong dintho tse ngata di ka hafolela and then profession ya rona ya social worker ke bona inkare ha inkele hlong haholo especially bona ba sebetsa di organizationeng tsa the president re na le ntho e bitswang dry season ka April ra tseba re kgone so ke kopa ho shejwe taba ya dry season ho shejwe le di-benefits because ke believe hore le rona re le di-organizationeng re ntse re tshwana le batho ba departmenteng so ke kopa re nkele hloohong le rona ya ho qetela ntate president ke kopa ho bua ka legation la bophelong ke believe hore bophelong ke legation le neglected haholo e sa le bophelong e bana le di-RDP 1998 le ka jena o so ba nne se etsalang bophelong ke tsela ntho e nngwe le nngwe
Okay, ke a leboga ausi ke kopa o fe abuti o ya and then ke tla ka mo a ke fetsa ka bua abuti
Mongameli nesigqeba simbali nenzawuthetha ngazo ndikuwa-2 esibukeni ehostel ukusuka ngo-1994 makwakuqalwa uvotwa ngokukhululekileyo ihostel isenjeya ayikatshintshi kuwesi ngoku isuwa abantwana badada kuyo into endiyicelayo ke ngoku ndicela ukhe uye uyovela phaa ngoba siphenduka amaxoki kakufuneka bevotile abantu basibuza laa mbuzo umntu uba iyawudivelopha nini le hostel. Okwesibini ndicela ukuba ngaba sinezi-scrap yard ezingekho semthethweni abantu bayamoshakalelwa khawukhe ufake inyawo kuloo nto leyo siza kuncedisa nathi singabahlali.
Siyabulela ndizawuza ngapha sinike utata apha
ke Charles Mabuza ya bua mona from Zone 12 Sebokeng ke romwa ke mokgatlo wa Wessels Motor Foundation. Ntho e ke tla kopang ho e botsa pele mona kore jwalo ka hantate mo premier a buile ka this cannabis industry. Ntate premier le mo president. Nna potso ya ka ke ena, it's about the cannabis. Ke batla ho tseba hore batho ba lekeisheneng e leng di-growers le di-users tsa cannabis ba batlang ho ba into this industry ya cannabis ana ba tlamehile ho etsa jwang, because re fumane hore ho na le institution e teachang le trainang ka this cannabis mara ha re sheba di-fees tsa teng tjhe rona ha re kgone ho di kgona tseo. Jwale re batla ho tseba hore mo premier re ka etsa jwang rona di-growers tsa cannabis tse dulang ka hara makeishene ka hore ha o so ka o fihla ka yona ka hara makeishene.
Thank you. My name is Itumeleng Tai from the South African Congress for Early Childhood Development. And the President, the ECD sector is requesting to have its own directorate, our own department that will have ECD professionals and have only ECDs as a priority. We request a model of funding to be changed to that of schools or a program that will cater for overall needs of ECD centers. And we are also having a huge challenge of inconsistency in issuing of health certificates at our municipality, and we are also having a challenge with the expensive rezoning fees for non-profit organizations due to the bylaws that happened to be taken during the time of apartheid according to the official in land use management. So these are only the requests we have as an ACD sector. Thank you.
Because Kirile are told because meeting what degenerate because Kihale Batuabuwa and sa concentrate and Hakiri Arikate president. It's our president Hafez of Fetula Ritabona for Sitaba things back because Honali minister, Honali issues Senata says raise it. So Kiakoba. Ore batho ba bangwe a re ngwaleng mo fatshe because re ka se bue kaofela no ke nnete eno so no ke nnete re ka se bue kaofela so ke tlo kopa ke bona youth batjha bana ba sekolo MEC ke nako ya sekolo a ke tse gore bana ba nyaka eng so ka nako ya sekolo MEC minister ba mo no, emanyana ere ke fa abuti wa Kadiba. Ya, ke fa abuti abuwe.
Oh, it's all about time to say. It's all 122 but that's a piece of one. We as the youth, we implement the project and how I'm talking to say. tsela ya bona ga ra from here go no fitela ka sekona yo ba tsa mara mo nna no go and I want to say cham for youth ya bona and there's nothing working out finally the councillors and everything but bona jwale if o khona go kompa motho go elena le khona go etsa meeting but nothing ever goes right le go ba vele go le go thusa le batho ba bona please because we elected batho but they are not doing anything for us please.
So let me make it clear to those students, you have to write. I'm not going to allow students to be addressing at meetings during school hours. Whenever I'm not going to do that. So, can you proceed? They're supposed to get school. So, can you proceed?
sebetsa ka tsela ena re tlo sebetsa ka tsela ena ke batla ho le leboha kaofela batho ba mona Sedibeng because you are showing a great deal of enthusiasm for mosebetsi ona o re o etsang. I am also hugely impressed by the presence of so many stakeholders. I must tell you that this is the best DDM, District Development Model, launch we have had because of the presence of so many stakeholders. Le bafeta kaofela bana ba bang se rile go ya go bona le ka e chapela matsoho mamelang he. Wa bona Minister Motshega o na bua nnete hore se se lekene sebakeng sa ka jwale. This is now my space. Jwale re tla etsa tjena. Bana ba emeng mona ke batla re le emele ka thoko ke tla khutlela ho lona. Emelang ka thoko, just stand on the side hantle ka tsela ya ho hlompha le lona le emele ka thoko hantle. That's right. Jwale re tlo etsa tjena. La bona ha re tshwara the district development model launches hangata. Hwane ho bue batho ba fitlang 40. Batho ba fitlang ho 40. Se se re fihlile ho 34 jwale. Ka morao ha batho ba 40 ke fa di ministera le di MEC le premier nako ya hore they must answer, because some of the things are in areas where they are already doing a lot of work, and some of the questions are questions where they have answers. So I give them an opportunity, and that is why the majority of the cabinet members are here. The majority of the provincial executive are also here. And that is why the Premier is also here, and the 4 mayors, 3 local and 1 district. So the whole of government is here. But they must be given an opportunity to respond to some of the very important issues that you have raised. Because we are a listening government. We want to listen to what you have to say. Hore ntho tse le tla di buang, tse le di hlahisitse mona, le tse ding tse le tla di hlahisang ka morao, re fumane tsela ya ho di arabela. Ha e le dipotso le tsona re di arabela. Empa he le le dikeletso. The one good thing that is wonderful with this function is that you are also suggesting, putting forward suggestions, referring proposals of what we should do about certain things. And we therefore want to take those issues very seriously. Some of you have come here to say, this is what you should do with ECDs, this is what you should do with agricultural boards, bring them back. Some of you have come here to say, we want to help government. Allow us to help government, and so forth and so. Some of you are already saying, we are doing quite a lot of work, helping or dealing with the transformers and so forth. And it's wonderful that the CEOs of major companies are also here. Agricultural companies, electricity companies, farming companies, and so forth. So I am grateful. That's why, Kerry, this is one of the best district development model launches that we have had since we started. Now, I'm therefore going to call a number of ministers to come forward to respond to some of the questions. One minister who has a lot of things to answer for is the Minister of Human Settlements. There have been a number of questions. There have been a number of questions raised on her, around her area of responsibility. Housing has emerged as an important issue in this community, and I can hear that. And I wanted to come forward, and then I'll be calling others, Lebon, what they will have done is to note the various questions that relate to them. And they've been taking notes as I have. So, bata arabela, tsona dipotso tseno. Lona lebele eme hona mono. Kabane, ke batla lebala, I want to count you hore le ba bakae. No. Hands down. Isale tsola how fast. If I disciplined, do tshwane le nna. Upon now I'm disciplined. You are like kitlo lebala hore le ba bakae. And then le lona I'm going to count you le ba bakae. And then we will decide how are we going to deal with your issues. Now, in other launches, what we often do, they must write down. They must write down their issues. They must also give us the details of their contacts. How do we follow up? And believe you me, we do follow up once we've held a district development model launch. The minister said they go back. One of the ministers who could not come here, but then he finally came, the minister said, he said, President, I'll be going to Carolina. And then I'm pleasantly surprised to see that he's here. But he had to go back to Carolina. There were specific issues that he had to address. And other ministers as well, they keep going back to those areas where there are issues they have to address. This goes to show where we treat this type of engagement with you in this type of imbizo very seriously. And we want to be able to follow up on the issues that you have raised. So I'm calling Minister Kubai first, and thereafter, once she has addressed the many issues that have been raised, I will call another, and then we will then find a way of dealing with these colleagues. Now, I can already see where some of them have already gone way beyond Sedibeng. So we will want them to hand over some of the things that they have written. Minister Kubai, itlakape. How? Alisa Nchapela Matsola. President no, Ari Tabis. Chapelin Maso.
Dumela. Ke leboha ke dumedise mo president wa rona le baetele dipele ba leng teng. Le nna ba setse ba nkeleditse di viva so a ke tlo di etsa. Ke tlo a mo tabeng. Ke simulle ka mme wa rona o buileng a buella bomme ba leng ka ra construction Sawit re bereka le bona mo president le bomme across the country. Re na le support e re ba iletsang yona hore ba kgone ho tswela pele ba nyolohe. O buile ka o kopa hore re le lefapha re oketse ho monitora le ho checka performance ya di province hore e fe bomme menyetla ya ho sebetsa. Re na le program o policy ya rona ka ra lefapha la ho dula ha batho hantle e leng la 40% la bomme hore ba benefite. And se re se etsang ka ra di province through Minmac ke kopano ya minister le deputy minister le bo MEC ka naheng yotlhe. Re bua le bona re checka gore ka nnete ba implementa policy e re o etsa kota le ho. So monitoring ya performance e teng re tswela pele hona le mo ile reng go sampane go shota teng re ntse re lokisa. Ha re boela re bua ke rata ho bua ka ba buileng ka disabled communities. Re le lefapha la human settlement re na le set aside for procurement ya ba di disabled people living with disabilities ailing 2% for the project and also in terms of employment across on our project. So se o se re se etsa mo president ke rata o tlhalosetsa setjhaba sa rona. Ke kopa o bua ka bothata bo tletseng ka ra Sedibeng district ka ra human settlement. Ba pele ke ne re le mona harabe ke le DM o na le mo Mechwete o na le teng ka laboraro o na le go Obeting Bosi
project mo e le reng baahi ba ile ba mmontsha hore ho na le matlo about 300 for example e le reng ba fila hore a dula ka ra metsi re tshepisitse re tlo boela re lo lokisa re lo checka hore ho etsaetseng ka hore ne ho sa tshwanela e le hore ka nnete ha ebe e le hore ke wetland di-approvals ne di sa tshwanela hore di tswile so re itse re tla romela di-engineers on that side hore ba e checke bothata bo leng boholo ka ra Sedibeng ke di-illegal occupation both in terms of land lefatshe le matlo ke rata ho bua so mo president mohlomong baahi ba ka sethale but se ke rata ho se discourage gore re ka swele pele baagi ba rona re tswela pele ka di-illegal occupation tsa mafatshe ha o emella o re rona re ba ilo re ba ipeile o bua gore re illegally have taken over land e ilo re no sa tshwanela o enka ke rata ho tlhalosa hantle ne ke gopela gore le mfenna one ke gore le re dina ya opportunity monyetla wa gore re plane hantle re lokise lefatshe leo re kenye metsi re kenye sewage re kenye ditshebeletso tsohle before re le bea mo lefatsheng leo but se seng ha re lebella di-disaster tse re bileng le tsona dikgogola tse di bileng teng ke gore batho ba ipeya ba feletse le gore ba nkuwa ke metsi ba bang le bana ba tlhokofala go buiwe go botsisiwe gore government e ne le kae ha batho ba nkuwa ke metsi e le gore a se rona re ba beile mo ba dutseng teng so nako mo batho ba lebella ka matlho a rona a nama re nahane gore a lefatshe le na le loketse gore re dule kanti ka se tekhniki di-engineers ba tlo bolela gore ha se lefatshe le loketseng for go dudisa ga batho yaanong re a kopa tswetswe batho ba go gae a re tlogeleng di-illegal occupation of land it's wrong but secondly how is a illegal occupation of land ba bang le ipea tlase ga di-power lines tse dangerous then re latelle go twa re le tlose ga re le tlosa le jumpa line ya human settlement so motho o ntseng a dutse lining a emetse go fiwa ntlo ha a fiwe ntlo because re rashitse re nka tšhelete re attenda ho lona e le gore maphelo a lona a mathateng so re tlhoka tshebeledisano between rona re le lefapha la human settlement le lona le le baagi la itse ba ntho ke buang ka ra Sedibeng di-project tsa rona di dingata ntate Makhura ha bua jwale ka mopirimiri a re na le di-project tse dingata ka ra Sedibeng o bua nnete re na le mega project ya Obet Nkosi re na le mega project ya Savannah re na le project e ba buang ka yona ya extension 28 re na le tse dingata di-project but most of them di disruptwa ke rona baagi ga re etsa illegal occupation go fela matlo a ithule a kena le a wanka contractor then pools of site so we have agreed le MEC Maile gore re tlo tswela pele re tlo bana le another team that we are going to work on e le gore re tlo etsa re boele back mo e le gore matlo a illegally occupied re evicte but se re batla mo se etsa gape mo president ke itse go team national ke kopa ba cheke if molao o tla re dumella gore ha e be le gore ho na le motho re mo tsebang gore o na leader the march or whatever that led to illegal occupation of land, we must personally go after that person. We must get them arrested or even they must forfeit their properties. And le ba ka leng ke tsang gore ke batla ho etsa jena ke ba ke nna gore batho ba go gae le etsa government e bereke bohlaso ha motho a tsamaya whether ke political party whether ke individual se re batlang ho sietsa gore tate a ke a tseba gore colleague ya ka minister Cele o tla ba le ready go nthusa gore fela rona re tla identify a person gore ntate Cele motho o re eletsang mathata re le lefapha la human settlement ke yona re monele ho maponesa ba motswara because ha re sa etse jwalo the illegal occupation of land and houses di a re hlikefatsa baahi tse di builweng ka mo ke tla bua ka for example ha re lebella ho na le go builweng ka yona ya ko ke bule ka extension 28 re bua ka e le reng ke land ya ko ward 31 Sinqobile ntate ha bua mona sa hlalosa hore ke butse ke ward 31 ko Sinqobile re na le mathata hape ha re lebella some of the disruption extension 28 as well ke illegal occupation ha re kgone no kenya metsi ha re kgone no kenya motlakase because of that So re tshwanetse re boele re ilo lokisa so that re kgone ho feletsa. Re ka blame Eskom re high connect, re blame Department of Energy re high connect, but the problem is the correct allocation ya matlo ha se yona. Ko Savannah go bile le baagi ba re mo rona ba re no re batla o kena o ba part ya di allocation. Molao wa re dumelle ke kopa le hlalosetsa. So le ska lwantshang ma-councilora, le ska lwantshang MEC. Molao wa di allocation o etswa ke government, not communities. Re na le partnership le di communities through ntwe re bitsang gore ke social facilitation. So re bana le contract, President ka ra human settlement. Ha re etsa even the upgrading sa informal settlement. Re bana le ntwe re bitsang gore ke social compact with communities. Re tla ka ra community re dumellane ka process ya go upgrade le the time frames and what we need to do. But se re se bonang gore nako ngwe baagi ba tswa ba ilo etsa tse le gore ba sa tshwanela go di etsa. So re dumelane gore re set up ile team ya go tlo kena ka rama di community le di projects tse ke di buileng ka tsona. Kara national e tla be le leadwa ke national, kara Sedibeng completely, because re feel gore go na le mathata na le one. But again, the last point ke rata go bua ke gore nako ngwe re le setšhaba re gana go move mo ile gore government e re matlo a teng. There's a project e fedileng ne re le go yona maobane le MEC o nang reportela gore re na le batho ba bangata ba ile gore re ka ba movela go yona, but batho ba rona ba re go gakala se ba tlo dula mo. Now ke rata go tlhalosa batho ba go gae. You might prefer go dula go plekeng e itseng, mara ha re sena lefatshe go plekeng eo re na le lefatshe sa mo re agile matlo, re kopa re dumelaneng le moveleng go re ska sokodisana le re bolela gore go gakana ke mo re kgonang go aga teng. Matlo a ma fedile, di units di teng, batho ba gana o movela mo ba re go gole. So a re tlo dumelanang ka yona, a re dumelaneng ka yona, because ke yona ile reng MEC na ntlhalosetsa maobane, because ne re lo handa out matlo ko teng maobane re batla o understanda le MEC gore go bane ha re fitla mo projecting eo re fitlela e go Lesedi masipaleng wa Lesedi project ya teng ke utlwa ba bang ba mbitsa gore minister e go kae, ke tla le fa le bitso la yona ke go empumelelweng. Re na le di units tse di leng teng bagolo ba ne re batla go ba movela go na le mena bua mona a re ke mogolo ga ke na ntlo. Bagolo ba ile re ne re batla go ba movela go ba ganne go ya ba bangata ba re ga bano ya ka mo go bane go gakana. Now the units ne di le teng for bona re a kopa that's why ke tlhalosang gore re a kopa bagolo ba rona ha ebe le gore matlo a teng a available and o fila gore o batla o ke a bua ke project ke mkomelelo ne re le go yona maobane. So re tlo kopa re berekisane le setšhaba sa rona. Mo president ya bofelo ke di hostel ke accepta gore di hostel ha ra di arabela hantle, ga ra dila le tsona hantle, di na le mathata ka ra Gauteng. Ha se mona Sedibeng fela, ke na le di hostel ka ra Johannesburg, re na le di hostel tsa Davidton ba ba entse ebile city ko national office. Re itlamme gore re tlo etsa project and focus for the hostel across gore re kgone go dula tse ding gape ke di properties tsa Transnet. Ke ntse ke dila le tsona le 2 days e fetile re ntse re bereka le Human Rights Commission e le gore di hostel tsa teng di fola under Transnet e le gore ba offera gore ba re fa tsona, but we are trying to finalize the logistics tsa teng so that re upgrade di best boemong bo e le gore bo right forward. So ke rata go accepta gore mo bathong ba di hostel ke a araba gore ka nnete mo re na le diphoso ga ra le arabela hantle tsona, ga ra responda go di hostel ka nako ene ka tsela e ne re tshwanetse gore re di arabele ka tsona. Re nka maikarabelo and re tshepisa pela mo president gore re tlo di lokisa, re tlo ba le partnership ya rona, re tlo di ya bofelo e ke lebetseng go ya raba ke a hlano mo president ke project. It's almost like what we can call social housing. Ke batho ba le rona ba le under project ba na le social CRUs, re bitsa di CRUs. So ba bile le contract le a private developer, ba agela di private developer in terms of affordable housing, but it didn't go well. The matter nearly go court because ba tshwanetse gore ba thole dintlo tsa bona. What we are trying to do, mo president, go through a middleman, that's the first thing, and deal directly with the people that are supposed to benefit. Ba ile gore ka nnete ke bona di beneficiaries ra ba tlo ba bona ba le ko strate. Yes, the matter was lost by the Department of Human Settlements in the province, not with national, in the province, because we are not party to it. We have agreed to the MEC maile gore we'll see Concern ya gagwe ke gore there are gaps, and it will be seen as an irregular expenditure if you are to pay. It's almost 197 million. That's also repatale baagi ba leng affected by Hlano. But when he looked at it, mo president o ile a fila gore go na le mathata e le gore a tla etsa auditor general a fitlhele gore a ra sebedisa tšhelete ya setšhaba gantle. So se re dumelane le sona le MEC gore re tla boela re dudisane. Baagi ba Hlano ba tseba gore my team has been engaging with them. We are trying to find solution, but it's not an easy way because we still have to account for tšhelete ya setšhaba. So ha re spend it the way re ratang ka teng outside the confines. Ke a leboga mo president.
Minister Kubai. She has answered many of the questions. As I call Minister Nzimande to come forward, okay, free. He's just gone out for a while. Minister Didiza, as I call you, as you walk up, I wanted also to stress the issue of the women in construction, and where my sister was saying thank you to government for focusing on the empowerment of women. I just want to repeat what she said, Hori. This government has put the issue of the economic as well as the social empowerment of women as one of our key priorities. Bomme ba South Africa re ikemiseditse gore re tlo ba re le supporta good linkutlwa hantle good ka tsela kaofela tsona from an education point of view. Lokisise gore bana ba bangata, and Minister Enju ta bua ka yona, ba bangata of the young children who go to our schools, the majority of them are girls. When we go to university, we are finding for the majority of those who not only go to our universities and colleges are girls, but they get more distinctions than boys. They are cleverer than the boys. And we are going ahead with the process of appointing them to key positions. You know, the other time I met the ESCOM power station managers, and I was pleasantly surprised. There are women who are running ke boss at the power stations. Ke bona ba etsang gore re be le motlakase. Now sometimes wawa a o iswe ke bona. I'm sure o iswa ke banna. So can I get a more OC oiling a razor tabaya the I think it's the women, the women in construction. We are going to be focusing, even as tenders go out, retabarnale bias to ensure for a yes, 40% of the procurement process in government, we want it to go to women. Alisha Belima So I just wanted to respond to that for it. We are going to do right by the women of South Africa. And we are going to make sure that they get empowered in all spheres of our lives. Now, I'm going to call Minister Didiza, because there are a number of issues that were raised in relation to agriculture and some proposals that were put forward. I'm sure Udu Minister Didiza come forward.
Thank you very much, President. Sanmonani, Ninjani, Dumelang, and that's where ends my suit. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Indeed, there were issues that were raised by a number of people who spoke on issues of agriculture. I just want to say up front, Mr. President, that in June, the district mayor, who's with us here, Umamncane, that's how she's been called, convened an agricultural summit looking at what are the issues that would require the municipality working with the agriculture and agribusiness. I must say, Mr. President, that Sedibeng is actually one of the food baskets of Gauteng. It's part of what was called before the maize triangle. So one of the things that the municipalities in the district working with the province and national, we've agreed that we are going to focus in this province on the grains, on livestock production, vegetables, which is horticulture, but also look at issues of hemp and cannabis. So these are the issues that when the district mayor held the summit in June, reflected on it. The past 2 days, Mr. President, we were here with the MEC, the Premier and the District Mayor meeting the farmers, and yesterday we actually met with women farmers in this region. So the issues that they've raised, we do appreciate that we still need to do more in terms of land access, even though there's not much land in this area. As you heard, they were talking about plots. Plots are being supported. There are many women who have been supported who are working in the plots here. One of the issues that they were raising, particularly in the plots that I've raised with Minister Mkhunu, relates to issues of water availability for agriculture. So it's a matter that we're going to address. The other issue the municipality have agreed to is to set up land that the municipality has for commonages, so that those people who have got livestock in the townships can actually have land where they can put their livestock in order for us to deal with the issue of effective support, but also to address the issue of animal diseases, the biosecurity. Because one of the challenges we held here in Gauteng last year in particular, Mr. President, was the outbreak of African swine fever. Because abantu bahlala nengulube zabo ezindlini, and unfortunately zingabi nokuthola veterinary services. So we've agreed with the municipalities that where they don't have commonage land, we're going to assist with the acquisition. Mr. President, on the issues of market access, I just want to indicate that already the municipality here, the district municipality, is renovating the Vereeniging fresh produce market as the first step of creating an opportunity for markets for those who are producing. We are also taking note of the issues that are raised about the revival of the marketing boards, and it's a matter that we will reflect on and see how best we can address the marketing challenges that our people face. The last issue, Mr. President, relates to cannabis and hemp. I saw, Mr. President, my colleague, Minister Cyril, shaking his head when this matter was raised, and I understand. Because on one hand, this is an important industry that has got an opportunity in terms of medicinal, pharmaceutical, but also, automotive parts like dashboards in respect to hemp, and also for Mr. Mbalula on dealing with the issue of fixing the potholes. There is Professor Dibia here who has a demonstration farm, Mr. President. Got the license through SAPRA, where they are dealing with issues of medicinal. So there is some green shoots on how we can industrialize. But as you know, Mr. President, we require a national strategy by the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition to develop a South Africa's industry strategy on hemp and cannabis. Minister of Health is also concerned that as we address these issues of industry in hemp and cannabis in particular, we need to deal with the issues of the high level of THC that actually creates problems for drug abuse. So we need to balance those issues, Mr. President, without discounting the important matter of the industry in hemp and cannabis. But we need to take into consideration the health issues that the Minister of Health is concerned about, but also the Minister of Police and Justice, to make sure that in terms of capping the issues of substance abuse, we do have a better framework that will deal with those issues. Thank you, Mr. President.
You forgot one other issue which you will deal with in time. There was a proposal that in the past we used to have agricultural boards. You said we'll deal with it. Oh, okay. Being supporter no mama about agricultural boards. We're going to ask Minister Nzimande. The very first question that was asked about a person who is slightly David. He says he's been an unemployed artisan since 2017. Prime Minister, yes. And what is our plan for slightly senior citizens to get jobs? Because he's slightly older, but he's not too old not to work. And we have a number of companies here that need artisans. But what are you doing about artisans?
Thank you, Mama Mel. Thank you very much. In fact, I noted 3 issues which I would like to address very briefly. The one is the one we are raising, President, on artisans. Then the second one is student accommodation. The third one, there's someone who raised something about the hydrogen economy. So I just want to address those 3 briefly. First, let me start with student accommodation. I was very pleased to hear the gentleman, which by the way, when I finish speaking here, if you can come and see me, I'm sitting somewhere there, about the fact that he's got access, he mentioned something like more than $200 million US for investment in student accommodation. I would like that you come and talk to me about that. But don't then say, Zimande is offering me a tender for accommodation. I want to engage you outside of this to tell you what we are doing about student accommodation. I'll just mention it briefly. Indeed, there is a huge need for student accommodation in the country. It's something that we've identified as government. We did a study in 2010 which showed that just on university students alone, we were only catering for 20% of university students with accommodation. Possibly now it's at 25%, 26% in terms of university-owned student accommodation. But we've expanded now also to cater for accommodation for TVET college students as well. Because government does not have the resources to provide all this at once, we want to partner with the private sector on student accommodation. That is why I'm interested that I can tell you the details on that, because we do need resources from the private sector. For example, President, you normally mention this. The National Student Financial Aid Scheme spends 11 billion rands this year on student accommodation. Now, what we are looking at is to act smart. If we have this 11 billion rands, we believe that we can attract 4 times, if not more, of that amount of money from the private sector, if we then guarantee that they will get the money from NSFAS to go to those facilities. So I'm more than happy, because this is a priority issue. Government wants to ensure that our students do have decent accommodation. That would be my answer. That's how far I can take it here, and then I can give you further discussions, further information on how we can engage with you. President, I don't want to dodge the question on old artisans, but there are 2 ministers who must tackle this, not me alone. Minister Nxesi is the other person that we are already working together with to ensure this pipeline, that when students finish, how do we ensure that they also get absorbed in employment? Now, we are focusing a lot on artisans because we do need artisans. Allow me, President, without taking much time, because we don't have time, to say this, that as a country we are short of artisans. That's why since 2014, we've been having what we call the Decade of Artisans and encouraging students to go to TVET colleges. We now have got National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Students from poor backgrounds, they don't pay when they go to TVET colleges. Government pays for them. That is why 95% of our students in TVET colleges, they don't pay. And we do have the Sedibeng TVET College here with multiple campuses. In a few weeks, I know I will be coming to launch an artisan program in this district, President. So that is very important. On an old artisan, I would just say, the gentleman who is an old artisan, can we meet? Because our focus is on training young artisans, but we need the more experienced older artisans to be able to train the young one. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but come, let's meet and see how we can be able to use your experience to be able to do this. Let me stop there, President. Maybe I won't talk about the hydrogen. Maybe, okay. On the hydrogen economy again, I don't want to speak big scientific language here. Hydrogen is going to be one of the alternative sources of renewable energy. As the Department of Science and Innovation, we are doing a lot of work in promoting the hydrogen economy. And I was very glad to hear someone talking like that. Again, please see me now. I'm sitting there because we are looking for black participants in the space of the hydrogen economy, which we do not have enough. So if there are black industrialists interested in the hydrogen economy, you are my lady, because I think it was a lady who spoke. Come and let's have a chat so that I can tell you also about our hydrogen society roadmap, which aims to develop the hydrogen economy, and we want participation of black industrialists and especially women industrialists.
I have to raise this because it had gone down a little bit. So the lady who raised the issue of hydrogen economy, we could raise, he says he's interested in you, so you can go to him. But why are you laughing? Let's say he just wants to talk to her. Now you are going into overdrive in your thoughts. I'm going to ask that they come very quickly. They will answer some of the issues that have been raised. in a very short way because I still want to allow my friends on this other side to say a few things. But I am now going to manage you. The Minister and the MEC gave you 2 minutes. I give you 1 minute. 1 minute each, and I'll be coming forward if Kukaure Wataila Yanu. Minister Motshekga is going to stand up and address the issue ECD, Funza Rushaka, and also the school transport issue, which I think was also addressed on the sidelines, and very quickly answer those, and then we will take this forward. Minister.
No, thank you very much, President. On the scholar transport one, I am aware that there are challenges around the contract of scholar transport in the area. The province is dealing with it. It's a tender issue. And I know, sadly, it affects learners. When I went to some schools, I was told that because we're not resolving the tender problems around the scholar transport in this area specifically, not the entire region. In specific schools, children walk a long distance and they tell me that they're having incidents where learners were unable to come to school. So it is an urgent matter. The province is dealing with it. I'll also urge them to resolve it as soon as possible. So it is a fact that we have a problem around the scholar transport contract in this area. On Funza Lushaga, I was looking at Minister Pando because the chances are that you get employed around the availability of a post for a specific skills. The Funza Lushaga kids were purely given bursaries on maths and science. So that will be the criteria that we prioritize. Is there a vacancy on maths and science? So I will want to check if indeed, is it a skills mismatch and why till 2013 we've not been able to place. I'm aware that we have not been able to place enough, we have not been able to place all the learners, even the Funza one. In the current financial year, we have overproduced now the maths and science teachers. Sometimes learners, graduates don't want to go into rural areas, so they remain unplaced. So we're dealing with that on an ongoing basis, but we have now enough supply of Funza Lushaga or maths and science. We're looking now into your technical skills. So we're going to be giving bursaries only for vocational and technical education. That's why I'm also interested in these experienced technicians to see how they're going to help us with the 3-stream curriculum. We need fresh skills in that area. People can do all sorts of technical, plumbing, bricklaying, all sorts of things which are mechanical engineering, technical engineering, and that's the area we're focusing on. So it will be quite difficult to understand why a school would say, have you been sponsored by government and then you are taken or not. It's actually the skills. Funza Lusaka kids up to now is for maths and science. And those are the people that have been there, and that would have been the criteria which prioritizes them. But I'll follow up on that. The ECD one, President, the mayor can confirm we've had more than 3 big imbizos on ECD in the area. And we had all of them represented. We met them before the taking over by DBE to explain to them what is happening so they don't hear it from the rumors. We've been doing road shows to explain to different communities. The second Imbizo, I came with social development and officials from social development to explain to ECD practitioners what is going to happen from April this year to April next year. Amongst the things we explained was that for now, we're going to allow your social development systems to move so that we don't disrupt too much the system. But disruption we have to disrupt, and we're already trying to work with ECD practitioners that we don't kill the sector, but it's quite clear that we have to consolidate in the sector. Consolidate the skills, consolidate the services. The speaker was saying on registration, we did an audit nationally of ECD centers in the country. We counted up to 42,000 ECD centers in the country. And to give you a proper perspective, for ordinary children, we serve more than 13 million learners in 26,000 schools. For ECD, there are less than 1 million in 42,000 centers. So it means we have to consolidate, we have to rationalize. We can't be able to work the way it is if we have to make sure that there's access. We are planning to have 3 million learners if we have to improve access in ECD. But we can't work with 42 centers. So the question is, what is it that we do without killing the sector, but consolidating meaningfully? And that's what we're engaging the different practitioners, the organizations in ECD. It's going to be a long haul because there are lots of issues. There's going to be a real long haul, and that's why we are doing a consultation, so that people are ready. That is going to be a long haul. The qualifications that we want, we don't register any center in the backyard. Government does not allow you to spend money to renovate somebody's house where the ECD center are. The laws won't allow you to. You can't, because tomorrow you can say, I no longer want ECD, and we have renovated your house. So there are all those things that we have to consolidate. Thank you very much, President.
Thank you. Now this is what we are going to do. We're going to allow 4 people first on this side, and 4, 1 minute each to speak, and thereafter I'll bring more ministers to come and respond, including the Premier. 1 minute strictly. How fit a 1 minute? We can't hear.
My name is Mwetu Hupani. I'm representing the heritage sector. I should have long seated if Premier have mentioned anything about heritage and tourism, but in his input and speeches he never mentioned anything about that. That shows to us that his province and the district has nothing to do about that. But what we are saying as the communities is that in Ketnorama, the museums, there is nothing that is happening there. It's a bush. Even President, you can take your uncles there, they will be better than the way they are. There is a lot of negligency in terms of our heritage site, President. You look at that museum, it's an embarrassment. You come to Shabil Monument, because they know that you are coming today, they were cleaning yesterday, here I can tell you. It's because you cannot say that building is a heritage site. There are a lot that needed to be done. So we are pleading for support in terms of that. You cannot call that a monument. There are a lot of innovations needed to happen there, so that we are having our proper heritage site.
Thank you. Thank you. That's enough. The next one.
Yes, President. Name is George Mulder, the founder of Vaal Foundation. I invited you this year when I did the gala dinner for the victims and survivors. The Nengalembe massacre, the Mifato massacre, and the Shabil massacre. I took all of them for a gala dinner to respect them, as there was no event this year to respect them. I'm assisting them with their houses right now. I've got stand to build 100 houses for them. I'm doing a festival to assist them to renovate their houses and give them better living conditions. That's what we're busy working on. What I'm asking for is, I did all of this with other people, assistance from friends and other business people to assist the victims and survivors. My plan right now is I'm working on building the Nengalembe massacre in Zone 7, which is being neglected. I want you to build it and have respect for them to honor it, so that we can celebrate the Nengalembe massacre next year in January in Zone 7. Right now, we are the people who have that land, 821 hectares of land, the biggest land in Sedibeng, that is there. There's a huge project that is coming there, the Green City, the Premier visited the site. I want the engagement with your office so that you can assist us going forward. The land is there, the title deed, everything's there.
Thank you.
We can talk about it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Quickly, next one.
Thank you. My name is Keketo. ke tswa Ward 12 Mid-Vaal. Challenge re na le yona Mid-Vaal go Ward 12 ke taba ya housing. I think ke tla be ke bua Imbizo ya bothumo mamello ke le ka bua Imbizo e ne le teng MMC Memezi sale in charge for housing. Problem re na le yona mo is like hona democracy a re tsebe a re so be liberated Mid-Vaal and neglected ke our government from district provincial ha ke tsebe government one national provincial ha ke tsebe national consul's office. A problem re na le yona mo le bona batho ba bilang ka pilisi wa 12 what for le when the late when Mandela na fihla mo ona tshadi gaba ha thola ba bong khone wa bilang ba dutse mo for 1966 ba re ba dutse mo up until now ha re netse
thank you abuti emamo no tlokwa sa mo bona le minister hona jwale wa housing o dutse mane wa human settlements motlalosetse le yena MEC wa rona motlalosetse hantle a re ukendade.
Thank you. My name is Kiban Mutlo. I'm from Ward 6 in Mid-Vaal. Our first challenge ya electricity ko Ward 6 melo re masipala it's a commitment to like a transformer, but now the problem is ESCOM. It's more than 3 years now. ESCOM is about to on board to assist our community. The second one, Kia Clinic, Eloring Anova also made a commitment for the 12 rooms, 30 container. So I don't know, problem is for province. The intervention, Minister of Health, the MEC. And the other one, Kia red tape, the SMMs, Rasukula in terms of funding. Because Parvata in total not on. Like in Tatema Kura Anabua, Holuka, township economy, Roshoka lend Holo as black businesses for Ohono Hosebeza Karamakation. And the other one, the Sikia, the black industrialists. We are struggling, President. Renadin material, Ohono established at the site. Marao, ya Obata the fund, Obata the PO, Orenka purchase order, whereby on the material, Obata will produce, Ohono Rekisi. But the red tape are Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was 4. Quickly for this side.
Lina langa ki kamogelo mabilo ke tswa ko Mid-Vaal municipality ko Ward 10. President ko Ward 10 re na di flats go setselo tse di agilweng ka concrete le boards. Di flats tsa go setselo di bodile re kene ka 2020 ka June ka nako ya COVID. Di bodile di yankha di phatlo ha di beile ka ro drop di ba green. Re phela ka di mask ka nako ya pandemic re ne kenya di mask because re save from the disease. But now, rekinya di mask because the smell. Sasa ka hara matlo a rona, ha re khone bosigo tlamile rekinya di mask. Di bodile dintlo, plumbing, ha ina plumbing metsi a tsama mo fatshe. Hona le switch e tsamang ka haro passage. Passage so ke menyako ya di kitchen tsa rona. Ha switch hona le blockage. That switch e ya ka haro matlo a rona. The officials di tlile from Mid-Vaal. Ba bone, ke na le di pictures, the official from province. 180 families are living in that. Sorry, Kubatuso.
Thank you. Mayor of Mid-Vaal, connect with her quickly and talk to her. I'm connecting the two of you. Mayor,
Mr. President. Alibitoke Rufus Muchumolo. Nagitoku Hologalend. Get Mid-Vaal. Ward 8, still. So kibata wa hologa Mid-Vaal because since Ritsebiswa land, Yellow Romo is 300 hectares land ilikuwa. Even the time of Nale Polmashati, Nalite Mono, Artsebiswa no, that's my technical team no, land you know it over invalidity, reducing Kaufelamo. So Remaketino no Joalohore, Obani, because land by the year approved, 80% are not developable. But Marar market, so no sure. How wait are the needs? Mahua Albizemono, answer Asebeta. But Marar Repitor Lentiano, Kilentiano with accommodate our fair. 300 hectares kin 20 lane. Regaganya clinic, Regaganya to Tengata Mono, Lily police station Kaufela Atona, because Rarshe Villa Batuamat, Ranyata, because Haria Mid-Vaal mas paling warona baru vitor no gis problem ya provincial haria provincial reta ko pamang reta ko palalma so
The next one.
Right. So, question is based on Vaal Marine Commercial Project. How are you going to assist us on the terms of Department of Public Works to release land in order to process with Vaal Marine Commercial Development?
Thank you.
And then, please give us the date when we're gonna do these things.
Okay. Transfer of land. Yes, thank you. Next one.
Molweni momameli nabo bonke abaphathiswa nabahlali base-South Africa. Igama ndingumangaliso Petse. Ewe ndibuyela e-Ward 11 but ndizothetha nge-issue completely different. Namhlanje President sicela ukuthi uphe iliso indaba yama-military veterans. Siyasokola izindlu ezisakhelwayo azikho semgangathweni, i-issues zokuthi sisesibhedlele, ama-pensions yonke loo nto ayoywa. Ndime apha namhlanje ndine-court order against the department but xa kufuna bakomplaye abafuna ukomplaye badlala umdlalo. Siyabulela.
Next one. Yo, kungaro tshwere buka kaofela morena. Very learned.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and the entire nation. My name is Nick Enda Tabele. Ke President Katabaya ageism. Ageism ke yona e re baketseng poverty South Africa here. I'm coming from the Department of Tatebeki Kene. Who told you about Tatebeki Kene? I'm coming from this department. Haketa Ukwagi ABC Babradris. Joining Mr. President, having a certificate teaching, ageism requires 18 to 35. But our favor of it is it constitutionally or is it unconstitutionally now? And if it is inconstitutional, it means what you resign the constitution wrong. Maybe someone can point out 18 to 35. It take a money and a hard time also. Bravo, President. Scrap 18 to 35 with immediate effect. Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, with immediate effect. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask Minister Godan to come forward. At the same time, Minister Mutswaledi, Minister Godan, there are issues of transformers and so forth, and there was also a positive thing about payment of electricity, accounts and all that. Agar mamalane, Minister Godan addressed that. Minister Delil, title deeds. Please start lining up on the stage for me.
Dumelang, Sanbonane, Mr. President, Premier, and all other protocols observed. The first issue was meetings between councillors and ESCOM. There have been meetings with Mfuleni councillors, with Sedibeng councillors and Everton councillors as well. Issues of transformers have been discussed. There are concerns about 2 schools that are disconnected, but ESCOM is dealing with that. And I must say that today we have the ESCOM CEO here to hear you himself about some of the issues that are confronting you, so that they can respond more quickly to some of those issues. But with Everton, we have a serious problem. There are too many transformers there that are being damaged, and transformers explode because there are illegal connections, and more power is being taken from the transformer than the transformer has capacity for. So one of the appeals to all of us is look after the electricity infrastructure. Don't allow people to steal transformers. Don't allow people to damage substations. I'll show you a picture. Hopefully the cameras can focus on that, Mr. President. Just give me a second. Here's an example of a substation in Seboka. Look at the damage that has been caused by our own people. Now, why do we allow that as a community? Because now 16,000 people don't have electricity because of this kind of vandalism. And this is what we've got to bring under control. So the gentleman who raised the question about meeting with councillors, those meetings are taking place. The Premier's office called a meeting 2 weeks ago. ESCOM was represented at that meeting as well. Yesterday we worked, or 2 days ago we worked with MEC Mokheti to connect Dr. Bashla clinic in Sedibeng section 17 to electricity so that the clinic can start working as well. So in summary, we've got to protect the infrastructure, we've got to get more people to pay if they're not paying, and we need to work with Mfuleni because we have Mfuleni owing 5 billion rands to ESCOM, and we've got to resolve that issue as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. And I had transformers. Babona ESCOM, it installs transformers. And then we in the community, we know that there are people who do illegal connections. We know them. They go and do illegal connections, and some of them even come to us as members of the community. But no, we are clever, really clever. We can connect you to ESCOM and you don't have to be billed. And they go and do that. And in some places I've even heard, or some of these people are ESCOM workers. And then you, as members of the community, yes, Omolomung wants something very cheap. You don't want to pay. You then think, this clever guy will connect you to the electricity system and you don't have to pay. And then what then happens, the transformer becomes overloaded and then it explodes. Once it explodes, as the minister was saying, it then disconnects 20,000 households and it just becomes dark. And then we are the ones who then go back and blame ESCOM. We then say ESCOM is dealing with us. They are switching us off. And then ESCOM, because they have to do their work, they then go and get another transformer, they come and install it. And we dealt with this in Soweto, in one area. ESCOM went back, they installed it. The following day, the transformer was gone, stolen, and then ESCOM brings a third one and so forth, and then the community gets angry. Now, in the end, these transformers, some of them have to be imported. And when we keep installing and installing, then we run short of transformers. And then there is darkness, and then we blame ESCOM. But where does the problem start? It starts with us. As members of the community, we want to cut corners. We allow these people who do illegal connections, they do them, we think we will benefit, and everybody then gets disconnected. And that is why the minister was showing that picture as well. or let us stop taking shortcuts. If you cannot pay your electricity account, you go to the municipality. There is a facility that is funded by the national government for indigent families who are not able to afford. And we fund it to a couple of billions. And you go there and say, I cannot. You know, if now we have a situation where there's a complete blackout, and I promise you, in a number of places, even in the township where I grew up, I went there and found where it was a blackout. And then when we dealt with the issue, we found the blackout was not caused by ESCOM. It was caused by illegal connections. So it's important what we must understand, these illegal connections, they cause a lot of trouble and problems to all of us. Now, Minister Delil said that the issue of title deeds does not deal with her land under her control, and she's right. It deals with how I think he has gone out for a while. He's here. Okay, you are dealing with it. Are you dealing with the issue of museums? Okay, that's great. Minister Patla, there was a question here, the health certificates for ECDs. Leona, it's dealt with, is it? Or what we Talusa? For Bomaspa, think about it, Minister Zulu, social workers. It lokopi, utlo Talusa, the social workers. And as she's coming up, you can take your time. Now, I want to address you and you on this side. Now, a number of people who were standing there wrote all these things. They wrote their issues, and this is what we often do when we hold imbizos like this. Because not everyone has a chance to speak, then we ask them, write it down, and some of them have written really beautiful stories here. Now, that's what I'm going to ask you to do. There is a desk somewhere there. I ask you to write down your issues and put your name, an address, and phone number, because that is going to be the way we finalize the issues that you want to raise. So, Kiko Paure, just turn around and go to the desk there. Hunali desk just turn around and go to the desk. Quite honestly, the time has run out, and as I said to you, usually we have about 40 people who make inputs, and that's why I allowed 8 more. And then on your side, the desk is that side. Please go that side, write it down like all this, and put your name and number and whatever, and it will all come back to you. We will all come back to you. And then, okay, Minister Zulu will an answer for us, and after that we will then say who else should come forward. Minister Zulu.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Impendulo yethu with regard to our social workers, ngokubona kwethu si Department of Social Development sesivumelene ukuthi ama social workers akufunekanga ukuthi aqhashwe or employwe i-Department of Social Development alone. Sesivumelene ukuthi i-Department of Education, i-Department yamapolice aka-Comrade Bhekicele, namanye ama-department bane-chance yokuthi ba-employe ama-social workers. But I think okumqoka kakhulu, Mr. President, ukuthi mina no-Minister we-Finance, uMinister Godongwane, sesivumelene ukuthi asiyithole le mali yoku-employa ama-social workers
uMinister Godongwana ungicelile ukuthi ngimenzele idocument echazayo ukuthi sifuna ama-social worker amangaki azobhadalwa malini lawo ma-social worker. Leyo document isifikile kuMinister we-Finance namhlanje. So labo abama-social workers aba-trainwa i-Department ye-Social Development kikupa hore ba remele hanyane fela hore re kgone ho thola tjhelete eo from the Department of Finance, because ra tseba hore ke kgale ba trainilwe ke Department ya Social Development but they were not employed. Really today they will be employed, because not only the Department of Social Development will employ them, they will have to be employed by others, including the private sector, Mr. President, because our belief is that social workers are needed on each and every street so that they can be able to assist us with the issues of social ills. Eyokugcina, Mr. President, ile yama NPOs. Ama-NPOs now abuze umbuzo. We have taken the details of the NPOs, ikakhulukazi the NPO that is talking about cooperatives. Ama-cooperatives kuyafuneka ukuthi asupportwe yi-ECD department, but mina no-Minister we-Small Business Development, uMinister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, siyazi ukuthi kufuneka sisupporte ama-cooperatives. But bakithi, there's one thing which is a problem. Some of the cooperatives are not making AMA uniform to the quality they are supposed to make. So they must also know that when they make the uniforms, it's even the uniforms which are acceptable. Lastly, tabaya tender. Kibutite HOD wa province. Why are we now going into the tender process for these cooperatives? The problem is many of the cooperatives are not compliant, and then they must be assisted. My view, Mr. President, is that it is not the tender that is the problem. It is the people who process the tenders that become a problem. Because if they process the tender properly, people would not complain. The issue is, we are supposed to be answerable both to the people who give us the money, so that we make sure that the money is given to the right people. But the cooperatives who spoke here, I already have the details of them. We will engage with them, because it's important for them to be given back the job because they did it well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, thank you very much. I just want to round off what we've been all about with just a few words. But let me start off by thanking you all for welcoming us so warmly here in Sedibeng. And as I said, this Imbizo has been much more special than the others that we have held, because the views that we had here are representative of the various stakeholders, but also the various sub-regions of Sedibeng. And I'm glad that the cooperation that we have had is demonstrative of the work that is already underway. This is our fourth Imbizo this year. We launched the Imbizo in 3 areas the previous year, in KZN, in the Eastern Cape, and in the Northwest. And this year, this is the 4th Imbizo, and we are going to go on to have others. We have been this year to Mahikeng, the Northwest, in Mangaung, in the Free State, and in Carolina, in Mpumalanga. And here we are at the home of our Constitution. In case you don't know, this is the home of our Constitution, because this is where our Constitution was signed by the father of our nation, President Mandela. He signed it here, and for very good reasons, because this is a very special place. Premier has already said well, the industrialization really started here. And the constitution was signed here. And he also said the district development model has been practiced here before we even came for the launch. So you are doing the various things for the first time, in case you did not know. Hale CD4, hale na le ditsebe, ke a kgolwa le ikutlwetse le lona, le tshwantse re le shape matsoho ka bane le batho ba tsamaelang ko pele. As a country, we have many challenges. There are many challenges that we are facing, but from what the Premier said right from the beginning, much as we have all these challenges are being addressed. We are addressing these challenges one by one. The one challenge that really stood out and got the nation to look at your area with sad eyes was the sewage that was just flowing into the Vaal River, which we all heard about. We even sent the Deputy President here, and we sent a number of ministers. Ministers came here to address the challenge, and I'm glad to hear from the Premier today, as he was earlier reporting to me, which he also said here. This challenge of sewage, of sanitation, is being addressed on an ongoing basis, and Minister Mkuno and his department, working together with Red Water, a number of engineers, are addressing this. So we are addressing the challenges that prevail in this area, and we are implementing the various issues that have to do with our district development model. Because this model was put in place to enable various government departments to be able to work together. And believe you me, we are now practicing it more than ever. Even recently, when we addressed the issue of ESCOM, the electricity crisis that we have faced, which led to stage 6 load shedding, we called all the departments that have to do with energy in our country. They worked together, and in the end we came up with a plan that we finally put on the table and to the nation, which proves the real importance of the district development model, where we get rid of the silo approach to government at national, provincial, and local government level. It is a break with the past that we have had. And here at local level, at district level, it is aimed at making sure that our communities who have felt neglected in the past become part of the whole process of resolving the challenges as they are properly and fully consulted. And that is why, you know, Mr. Kropis could stand up here and say, we want to work with government. We want to help government to address the challenges that are here. And he was articulating a view that many of the companies that are here, not only companies, by the way, non-profit organizations, NGOs, and a variety of structures that are represented here, who are now telling us very clearly that we want to work with government because it is when we work together that we are able to achieve a great deal of success. We are therefore here to listen, and I'm rather glad that we've listened. As I said, ordinarily we get 40 people to make inputs today. We went beyond that, almost 50, but the written submissions are going to take us almost to 70 or 80. submissions that we are going to listen to very carefully. And it's not only that, Kaubane, many of them are suffering from the titlibo fela. Ke go beya mo tafoleng le dikeletso tse re tlameileng gore di shebisise hantle, and the suggestions are representative of the views of many people, even more than what we have here. And the presence of so many members of cabinet and provincial council, as well as local government, just shows you the seriousness with which we approach this. So I want to thank each one of you who spoke today, who raised their concerns and who put them in writing. I also want to thank those, yes, who offered constructive criticism, because it was not only, questions that you raised, and some of you have raised constructive criticism and advice. And we've also heard about the many challenges that are present here. And by far, unemployment is the biggest challenge. And it is the biggest challenge because over many years, businesses and factories here in Sedibeng have closed. Even as we were driving through, I looked around and realized a number of these factories have closed, and many of them have shrunk, and they are no longer the big employers that they used to be. So this area used to be the key industrial hub of our economy, but what I can say, not only from what the Premier said, but also from what I know is on the table, the Gauteng government has ambitious plans to revitalize Sedibeng by developing agriculture, and you heard from Minister Titiza, by developing logistics, tourism, and industries as well. And these plans are pivoted around, they revolve around the Vaal Special Economic Zone, which we have heard has the potential of creating up to 170,000 jobs over the next few years. That is a serious number of jobs that will be created right here in Sedibeng. The SEZ is also going to include another wonderful concept that I like, which is the Vaal River City. We've had this wonderful resource for years and years, the river. If you look at other countries, they always have their cities around the river. And we had our city, our main city, Johannesburg, around Welkom, around gold mines. Now with our mining sector, particularly those gold mines, having really run out of ore, I'm glad that the Gauteng government is raising their eyes beyond the horizon. They're coming up with an ambitious plan where, yes, you could create a city around the Vaal River as part of the special economic zone that is going to be set up here. And this SEZ will support a skilled workforce. It will enable producers of goods and services to connect suppliers to markets and support new local industries. And I'm particularly pleased for it. There are quite a number of black manufacturers who are coming through. And it's important that we should focus on that as well as part of our Black Industrialist program at national government level. We want to promote those who were willfully, intentionally locked out of participation in the economy of our country. And we want to focus on this area for reindustrialization, and the initiatives that the government in this province is doing is also to hold investment conferences. Recently, they held the Sedibeng Investment Conference, where, as the Premier said, they received pledges that go up to 45 billion rand. And that 2 industrial parks in Sedibeng will also be upgraded. Now, that is serious. In addition to the growth of business, we have been working to expand mass public employment programs such as the Presidential Employment Stimulus, the Community Works Program, and also the expanded Public Works Program, which has an element of employing young people. And let me say, the issue of ageism has been raised quite strongly with us. And it does not mean when we say we want to ensure that young people get employment, because we've got 64% of the people who are unemployed in our country being young people. It does not mean we are rejecting those who are 36 and higher up. Libona, we are going to be focusing on them. So this notion of ageism, just throw it out of the window. We are going to create jobs for all the people in our country. Now, the other important issue is to focus also on maintenance and also to focus on vandalism of our infrastructure. That is something where we want the community to work with us. And as I was saying earlier, the damage at the transformers are, we know who is doing it. And we also know who is vandalizing public infrastructure. It is important for us as a nation, as a people, to say no to the vandalization of our public infrastructure. We must draw a line and say, no, we will not allow this to happen, and it cannot happen in our name. Because when public infrastructure is damaged and vandalized, when a pipeline is damaged, it stops delivering water, the transformers are broken, and a whole range of other public infrastructure are damaged to the detriment of the community at large. And therefore, we need to turn our backs on that, but more importantly, expose those that we know are damaging public infrastructure. We have a lot of problems that we are facing today, and service delivery is one of the key ones. And through the process that the Premier has spoken about, we should be able to address social service delivery challenges, from water to refuse removal to creating an environment that is clean. As I was coming, I saw a lot of paper and plastics all over. And I want to urge our municipal mayors to address this issue. We cannot, in this place that used to be the industrial hub of our country, allow our people to live in squalor, in a dirty place. As government, we are taking a lot of processes to implement our economic recovery and reconstruction plan. And in doing so, we are touching on many of the issues that need to be addressed. And as many of you alluded to here, the various issues you raised, we will be able to address them. And I believe from human settlements, from housing, Minister Kubai has conceded, for yes, over many years, we have not paid attention to our hostels. Many of our people, a number of our people still live in hostels, and we have basically neglected them.
So we will admit for there we have been quite neglectful. And I'd like to see us go to those hostels and revamp them. And even go to those apartments where there's water and sewage and revamp them. Our municipalities must pay attention to what needs to be done so that our people can live with dignity. We cannot allow a situation where our hostels, which were built in the 60s to feed the migrant labor system, to the extent that they continue, they should continue being places of squalor, places where our people should not really be living in. So, but I'm pleased here, Sedibeng, that there are 7 human settlement projects. And as I've gone through the documents, these are mega projects that are going to build hundreds and thousands of housing units for our people. When she said, and that is so when we look across the country. For a 75-year-old mama or mkono still does not have a house, and she's never had a house. And I'm saying, let us also focus on the old people and give them the dignity that they deserve. With the military veterans, the Deputy President has been working tirelessly with the Department of Defense and Military Veterans to address the challenges that our military veterans are facing in relation to housing, to health, and also job opportunities. I know that the Premier's office has also been working on this. There may be maybe some gaps here and there. And these are gaps which we can address, and I'd like those to be addressed as well. I'm also pleased that with the 3 municipalities that we have, one of them completely being under a different party, I'm glad that even the mayor is here and he has heard some of the challenges that our people have, and that those that are under the governing party, the issues are going to be addressed. We want to see improvement of the lives of our people from a service delivery point of view from now on with immediate effect. For there must be changes. So today I am rather pleased for it. We have been able to deal with a number of issues, and also the issues that have to do with some of the key challenges, including electricity issues. And that is why even the CEO of ESCOM has been here for the Minister of Public Enterprises, Minister of Water and Sanitation, some of the key areas where our people have been having problems. And I'm also glad to hear, Premier, for there's an agreement on the payment for usage of electricity. And I'm hoping for that is going to be implemented. And I'm also pleased for the roads are also being improved. The Premier reported for it. There's a road where improvements have been taking place, where the provincial government has been focusing on making sure for it, the road is improved. And the potholes, we now have a project which is led by the Minister of Transport, which is basically said, I want potholes to be addressed throughout the country. And that is now going to get underway. And Kamani Lamuiti, Minister of Transport, ke unale tilaya buangayo. Or we be a project Vaal zonke.
or the project, the potholes and that is also going to be addressed. Crime is a big problem in this district, as it is in many other parts of the country. A number of people today also spoke about the challenge of crime, sense of insecurity in their areas, and I'm very pleased that we've got a number of our police officials here. We've also got the Minister of Police here as well. They have listened and they have heard. Or there are quite a number of areas where we need to pay attention. What we have now become more determined on is that we are going to address the question of crime, be it illegal mining, be it any form of criminality. We are going to address it with the seriousness that it requires. When these criminals become serious, they will find us much more serious than they are, and we are going to deal with them in the most effective way. We didn't hear much about gender-based violence here today, but I want to raise the issue of gender-based violence, particularly because this is Women's Month. We are making progress in implementing the National Strategic Plan on gender-based violence and femicide through a partnership between government and civil society and communities. And I'm glad that some of the organizations that are here deal specifically with gender-based violence. We have introduced laws that are going to tighten up the control or our focus on gender-based violence. So we are going to be focusing on that much more. But we also want our community policing forums to work more effectively in this district and work hard to cooperate with the police on an ongoing basis. So people of Sedibeng, your government representatives have been here today, as MEC Maile said. Being here, we've been chosen by you to serve your interests, and I'm glad today that you have made use of the opportunity to put your issues before us, and as I said, the issues will be taken forward. The various issues that have been raised have been written down, and they will be taken forward. And we want you to continue to be active citizens, because active citizenry is key to the development of our democracy, and your involvement at municipal level as well as at community level is critical. Ke batla hore re sebetse mmoho. Gompieno re bontshane ka jeko lena re bontshane gore re a kgona ho sebedisana mmoho, and ha ne re tla kwano ho ne ho na le bao ba bang who were having placards, who were showing us some of their concerns. That is another way of raising issues. But what I was pleased about that, Ori, there was no violence. They were raising issues that are of concern to them, and we also noted those issues, because our job is to serve you as our people and to be accountable to you. So let us ensure that the challenges that we face as a country, and there are many, and the challenges that you raised will be resolved, will be addressed, and as we work together, and today we displayed a really good spirit of being able to raise issues in a disciplined manner, issues in a forthright manner, and I didn't have a sense for the frustration that people had driven them to so much anger. Raise their issues very strongly, and I was very pleased that they could use this platform to raise those issues, because we need to listen to all voices, whether they are soft, whether they are loud, and whether they are hard. Today, we got that chance, and I'd like to say thank you very much, the province, for putting together this Imbizo, the district, Mayor with all those you work with, and the other mayors who are here. And I also want to thank the ministers and the MECs who took time to come here to Sedibeng so that we can have this Imbizo. This has been a very successful Imbizo. And thank you very much for msebenzi omuhle.
Thank you very much. So let's also take the chance, the opportunity to thank the President for inviting us here, hosting us here. On that note, our meeting or our Imbizo is over, but thank you very much, Mr. President, for the invitation.